Hello, how's it going? Hold on, my mic is really far. 1 second. How's it going, guys? Why is the text so big? It's giant text over here on the side. How's it going, guys? Hold on, let me turn on Spotify. I'm sorry, I've been having a headache since yesterday, but I'm okay. I'm okay. It'll be fine. We'll have good advice, hopefully. We'll go question by question. Yeah, yeah. How's it going? How does it be? ALH, hello. Tenko, hello. Evelyn, hello. Boogie, hello. Hazel, hello. Lawrence, hello. Darkest, hello. Oshi boy, hello. And hello on Twitch too. Guy, welcome. You're first on Twitch. Welcome, welcome. Hello. I think that's it. Okay, let's chat. That sounds really like dangerous for some reason. Let's discuss. No, how do I say this? how should I say this? So let me make this a little smaller. There we go. This is easier to read. Yeah, that's a little easier to read. And we'll make this a little taller. No, make it a little taller. Make it a little taller. 2000. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah. What's up? How's it going? Are you guys ready to chat about life? To bare your soul? To discuss everything? Everything? Are you guys ready? Also, let me put a clock on the screen so that it's easier for all of us to keep track of time. Relaxing music. Relaxing music. Put it right here. Relaxing music. Move this down. So this first question is actually by Foss, but you know what? Before we get into the question, I guess let's just talk generally. How's it going? How do it be? How is life? How's life? If you guys want to ask any questions anymore, I got like a few questions. I got like 7-8 questions. But if you guys have any questions, you can put it in the description. There's a link so you can ask it. But yeah, social interaction, my favorite. Who are you? Are you from the same century as us? Are you from the same century as us? Yeah. Imam, no spamming. No spamming. Please don't. Thank you. Kinlight, how are you? Yeah. I mean, how would one start a conversation other introverts to be happy? I am pretty introverted. Yeah. I used to think I was an extrovert growing up, but I guess I'm not. I realized I'm not. I realized I'm really pretty introverted. Yeah, I have to go now because of work. Have a good time at work, Darkest. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you have a good day at work. Yeah. Okay, so I promised that today's stream would be kind of about work advice, school advice, any kind of like adulting advice. And you know, if I don't know if I can answer the question, obviously I'll say, you know, I don't know the answer. I don't know if I can answer. But maybe we as a chat can discuss. You guys can share your experiences if there's a question that you see and you're like, hey, you know, I have experience with that. I think I can kind of talk about it. Feel free to like share what your perspective is and we can like chat about it. I'm drinking tea. I'm thirsty. I'm drinking tea. So the first question was, how the hell do you survive your first year of college or just college? And this question I think was, let me see who asked what. Let me pull up my questions list. Let me see my responses. Individual. Yeah, so Foss asked this. And the answer is, you don't. And I'm kidding. I don't know if I ever shared this, but I almost dropped out of my first year of college. Like, I was in college, and I was one of those people that did really well in high school. Like, I was really good in school. And then I got to college, and suddenly everything was really hard. And I'm the kind of person that's good at like presentations and stuff like that. In college, like there's barely any presentations in my class. It was just like, you have a test, you have a midterm, and you have a final. And if you did bad on the midterm, well, that's too bad. If you did bad on the final, well, that's really too bad because now you fail. And I was just struggling so much in school, I thought I was gonna drop out. I was like, maybe I shouldn't be here. I called my mom. My parents are pretty, into education. They're pretty strict. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I don't know if I can I don't think I can do this. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm in a major that I'm like not really interested in. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so I started out college as a biochemistry major. And I really like science. I think science is super interesting. But I didn't like doing lab tests and classes, and I was really not liking it. I was having a really hard time, and I was getting bad grades, and I was really struggling, and I wasn't really getting along with people, and I was having a hard time making friends and finding like my community or my place. And I was just like, I can't do this. I want to go home. So I almost dropped out of college. I had my first semester, like I studied really hard and my grades were not that great. And my second semester, I felt like I studied really hard. No. Wait, let me see. Yeah, my second semester, I studied really hard and then my grades went down, I think. Like one of my classes, I got like a 2.8. Like that's the lowest score I've ever had in my life. It was chemistry. Yeah, chemistry. Like, bro, I don't know what the frick happened, but I got like a near in my college that was like close to almost failing. I was struggling to get through class and even to like attend classes. Yeah, it was bad. So this is a really tough question to answer. But did I die? No, thankfully not. Thankfully not. Please don't die. Yeah, I ended up talking about college. Yeah, damn. Hey, Daryl, how are you? Darolin, am I reading your name wrong? Darolinian. I love the name. I'm just making sure. I want to pronounce it right. Let me know if I'm not. But hello, nice to see you. Welcome. But yeah, so I ended up switching majors. I still really like science, but I ended up switching majors. You didn't go to college? Yeah, like that's the other thing. Is like sometimes I think like we force people to do things that maybe aren't the right fit for their skills because we think that's the right way to do it. Like this is the right way to go. Your life, you need to go to college. And I think some people, like their skills are best suited for college, but some people, their skills are suited elsewhere. And we should like respect that. Ooh, thank you. I feel really strongly about that. Stacy, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Jose, hello, how are you? So yeah, so that was kind of like a big, I think a big one for me personally was feeling like I wasn't fitting in and stuff and not liking my major. And so I ended up switching majors to something I enjoyed more, which was economics. And then I found people that I actually enjoyed spending time with and talking to, like good friends and people that were thoughtful and nice and had interests like I did. And starting my second year, it was a lot better because I found people that were the right fit for me. Yeah, so that's like, so surviving college, it depends on like what you mean by surviving college, right? Like, do you want to survive in terms of like making friends, or are you trying to say like survive difficult classes or survive being professors? So if any of you have like a specific question related to this, we can talk about it. I didn't go to college because I want to get money. That's totally valid. College is so freaking expensive. It's so expensive. It's ridiculous. Like, don't even get me started on that. I'm not in college yet. Ugh, I envy you. I mean, high school was tough too, but Yeah. So that's kind of my big one. College is tough to adjust to, but gotta be honest with yourself and pick the major you actually enjoy, or do whatever else that is in college that's better for you. Exactly, exactly. And if you're going to college, just being really clear and honest with yourself about what it looks like after college, right? Like, I loved creating creative writing and music, and I could have majored in those things, but I have to accept that, you know, my life after college might be really tough because making income as a musician is really difficult, or making a life as a writer can be really difficult. You might not make a lot of money. I might live paycheck to paycheck. But if that's okay, that like for you, like you're okay with that, then I think that's totally like good for you, right? Like you should do what you want to do, but you accept whatever the outcome is. Versus like, you know, if you know I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, I want to make like a good income, then you sometimes end up doing something that you might not love as much, but maybe you don't hate it either. I just hope that nobody's doing something they really hate. But I think for me, it's like I love music. My what I would want to do in my life is just do music, right? Like I just want to sing all day. I just want to make music, and that's it. Like that's all I want to do. But it's really hard to make an income off of that. And so I decided to study some other things that would help me make money with a different job that can support my passions. One day I wish I could just do my passions as my job, but until then, at least I don't worry about making income, or at least making some money and being able to like feed myself or clothe myself or give myself shelter. So that I think is kind of important too, for me personally. Yeah, but then like I have a friend who, you know, chose a major, my best friend.
Thank you.
Fragment, hello, welcome. My best friend chose a major that's her passion, and I really admire her for that, because, you know, it does mean that she can't always buy the things she wants to, but she's really happy with her career and the things that she's getting to do with her job and degree. And that's really awesome too. And we're just kind of different people. Like we have different things we want in life. For me, stability is more like, how do I say it? Stability as in like the income I make is a little more important. But for her, really following her passion in that way was really important. So that's also something to think about when you're making that decision. But surviving college, I think, is a really broad question. It depends on like what aspect you're trying to survive. Yeah. I don't know if that answers this question, but if there's like a specific like test taking or something like that, that's like a very specific, that's I think a little bit different. Music is my passion, forced to study biochem. Yeah, I love music. I wish I was brave enough to be a musician. Like, I think it takes a lot of bravery to do something that you know might not always pan out. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of bravery, and I'm not that brave. I'm not brave enough. Like, for example, if I could do what my best friend did, and like I really admire her, I would just quit my job right now and just stream full time and really focus on music. But I'm not brave enough to do that. I'm not brave enough to do that. Yeah. Yeah. I think it depends on the major whether you struggle in the first year. Or I mean, it doesn't always have to be related to your major. It could be related to like social life and coworkers and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's, I think, I don't know if that answers this question, but I think this is kind of like the start of this question. But for what it's worth, like I said, I almost dropped out of college. Yeah. And sometimes I wish I could go back and change what I studied or things like that, but it is what it is. At least with my current major, I can make enough money to be able to like stream and stuff with my limited free time. So I'm thankful for that, but yeah. A lot of bravery and money on the side. No, like my friend genuinely lives like paycheck to paycheck, but she's really happy. And I think that that's really important. And it's different, right? Like she's not looking to like start a family, and she has different goals in life, and her lifestyle fits her goals. But I think you have to be honest with yourself, like what kind of lifestyle you want and what kind of goals you have and what you're okay with and not okay with, right? So it means like, for example, she knows that she's probably going to rent her whole life, and she's okay with that. You know, she doesn't want to buy a house or something. So you have to like be You have to make those decisions, and that's what makes it really tough. And again, like, not going to college is also a choice. Like, there's also, like, there's so much you can do, like, trade schools that are really important that I think people don't take seriously or realize how important it is. But that's some of the tough stuff about society. That's how it is right now. It sucks, but I get you. I really like computer-related stuff, codes, Java, Python, and whatnot, but I decided to go into hospitality industry just because I felt like I want to cook. But at the same time, I looked further and saw that I would find proper work if I did computer science than in the hospitality industry, so I picked the latter. Yeah, exactly. You have a passion, but unfortunately, society doesn't respect passions as much sometimes. Yeah, it really stinks. It really stinks. I take multimedia for high school. That's pretty cool. Multimedia sounds fun. She took economics, which means she saw the statistics for musicians. Yeah, I kind of did. I just really wish I was brave. Like, I had one friend, like not a friend, but like this girl I knew in college. She really was into acting, so she just picked up and like moved to like LA to like act and model. And I think she's doing really well now. I really admire that, but like, damn, that takes like a lot of like bravery and confidence and a lot of like commitment. Like, you have to be really like, I'm gonna do this. You know, it might not pan out. I might not become a superstar. I may become a superstar. I may be like super famous and make a crap ton of money. Or I may live like doing 2 jobs, acting on the side, waitressing on one end, trying to make ends meet, and doing my best. Like, that could be the reality, you know? But she's really happy, so like, I think that that's what's important in the end. Stop wishing and lock the heck in. Exactly. For me, it's like, I told myself that I wanted to succeed academically or in a way where I could make an income and not have to worry about food and things like that. That was kind of important to me personally. Like, I don't want to be a millionaire or something like that. Like, I don't think that that's gonna happen in my life. But I also feel thankful that I'm not worried about whether I can afford to feed myself, and I'm really lucky that I can do that. Yeah, I'm really fortunate, because even people who want to do that sometimes don't get the chance to do that. Like, even people who want to go to college and have a good, stable future don't get the opportunity to do that. So yeah, anyway, we're going a little off of the question, but yeah, I think that that's really important. Exactly, I wanted to be able to afford my Choco, okay? Like, it's really important, okay? I need to be able to afford my Choco. Yeah, actors are a different breed so much now. Oh my gosh, exactly this. Dude, I am so bad at that. I am so bad at networking. I am so bad at connecting with people in real life for some reason. I really struggle with people. I just can't relate to, like, I can't connect with them, and it's really hard. It's so different from how I feel when I'm interacting with people here. Exactly, you shouldn't give up on them. I don't think you should give up on your dreams, but you can achieve your dreams in different ways. Yeah, introverts trying to network, what a mood. What a mood. Southern Samurai, thank you so much for the follow, welcome. I don't know if I already said that, but welcome. Yeah, so okay, so going back to this first question of how the hell do you survive your first year of college or just college? Do you want to do well in college? If you want to do well in college, then I think my biggest piece of advice is consistency. And this applies to like a lot of things in life. It applies to anything that you want to get better at. It applies to anything you want to get better at, and that's consistency. And what that means is doing the things you need to do effectively and on a daily basis. So, for example, just making sure you're studying every day instead of trying to cram everything the day before the test. Things like that. So I think consistency is a big one. Making sure you attend your classes, or even if like you don't physically attend your classes, keeping up with your classes. Consistency, I think, is... And this applies to like passions too. Like, if you want to get better at music, you have to practice consistently. If you want to improve your foreign language skills, you have to like practice your foreign language consistently. consistently. So I think college, your first year of college, you have to manage your own schedule. And I think in high school, a lot of people are used to having their schedule managed for them. Like your school manages your class schedule to some degree, right? You go class to class to class to class to class for like 6-7 hours of the day, lunch in between wherever you have lunch. And then you go home and like, yeah, you study or whatever, but like to some degree, your day is kind of in someone else's control. And maybe you have parents at home who might really push you to study when you're home. There's people kind of keeping you accountable, right? Let's say, right? Not everybody has that, but let's say, you know, there's some degree of accountability. When you get to college, like the thing I noticed the most is that people really struggle to adjust to being independent. If your college is like away from home, you're not living at home as you go to college. Some people do, but if you're not, that's what I noticed is that suddenly nobody's telling you to stop playing video games. Suddenly nobody's telling you to study. Suddenly, you know, you don't have teachers giving you grades all the time. So let's say, you know, nobody at home ever told you to study or whatever, but in school, at least you got grades pretty frequently, right? Like this is your grade on your homework, and this is your grade on your test, and this is your grade on your exam, and this is your grade on your presentation and classwork and participation. But in college, you don't have that, right? In college, nobody, like the teacher, if you're depending on your school, but in my school, we only had midterms and finals. We didn't have like homework. It depends on the class, but we didn't really have homework. We didn't really have presentations. We didn't really have assignments. We didn't have like things to help us track our grade or build our grade. We just had to be responsible, and then bam, there was a midterm, and you did well or you didn't, and bam, there was a final, and you did well and you didn't, or you passed or you didn't pass. Like that's it, right? So in between that, you have to be responsible for yourself. And I think that's what people really struggle with their first year of college, is suddenly learning to be responsible for yourself and responsible for your performance, and be able to like manage yourself and be honest with yourself about, am I studying or am I just chilling, playing video? Am I playing Genshin all day instead of studying? Am I doing that? So that's, I think, the biggest challenge with college is finding a schedule and creating your own consistency.
Thank you.
Yeah, Oshi, thank you for the follow on YouTube. Weren't you already on Twitch, dude? Am I missing it? No, you're on Twitch. Okay, I see. Thank you. Unless you skip dailies and uninstall the game. Yeah, well, college is like, think of it like doing your dailies. You have dailies in college. You gotta do dailies. You gotta do your dailies. That's what's really important in college, is coming up with your dailies. Relens, hello, how are you? Alens, you can top up though, but then why would you struggle in college? I think it depends. It depends. Yeah, so I actually went to 2 different colleges. I went to 2 colleges. Without giving too many details, I went to 2 colleges. My first college is where I did economics. My second college, I did my top secret major that I can't disclose, and is what I'm doing in my job right now that I can't disclose. But yeah. Now to be the person giving advice on the unhealthy spectrum, if you're aiming for bare passing, you need to compile those classes or being graded and prioritized. No, that's like, no, that's totally valid. Like that is totally valid. Like if you want to chill a bit in college, and this is strategy, like there's strategy to like planning college. The best thing you can do if you really just want to get through college, like you don't want to work too crazy hard. And this is like something I did, so I genuinely understand. I completely agree with you, JP. Like you want to get through college. You need college to do what you want to do in life, but you don't really like college, or you don't feel like how do I say it? Like certain jobs, you don't want to go to college, but you have to get them, right? If you're trying to min-max college, exactly. If you're trying to be efficient with college, then you got to find a way to balance your schedule to minimize your effort. And what I mean by that is like, let's say there's this really hard class you have to take to get into your major, or let's say there's this really hard class you have to take to get out, graduate. Then do your best to make every other class that semester easier. Take classes that are really good for your grades. Like take classes that you're really good at. Let's say you love art and you really enjoy art, and you really like enjoy the class, and the teachers may be nicer. Sometimes one of my friends had an art teacher who was really, really harsh. So maybe not that class. But you know what I mean? Like a class that you're really enjoying and that you're really good at, put that with your hardest class. Make your life easier. Why would you take 3 hard classes together? Why would you take 5 hard classes together? Why would you do that to yourself? Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. And same with like what someone said earlier, don't put classes before 10 a.m. If you are not a morning person, don't put classes before 10 a.m. You know what I did? I put all my classes every day between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. I made it so that I went from class to class to class, and then my entire afternoon was free. I did not have classes in the afternoon. I think my latest class was like 1 p.m. and then I was done for the day. That's what I did, because I'm the kind of person that likes to get rid of my errands in the morning. And I used to think of class as an errand. And I was like, class is a pain in the butt. It's something I have to do. So I used to do it in the morning and be done. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this for the rest of it. I don't want to think about like, oh, I have class at 4 p.m. I have class at 7. I don't want to do that. So I front loaded my classes. So that's one of the big things I did was, one, I front loaded my classes, and two, I did it where I tried to take like the hard classes with classes that are easier and more enjoyable. I tried to balance my schedule so that I wasn't doing a ton of crazy classes with crazy professors in one semester. And you know, I had some really great professors, but I also had some really mean professors. So yeah, you gotta, it's like resource management in like, I don't know, a dungeon farming game or something. You gotta manage your resources, and that resource is your time, your energy, and your focus. Those are all resources. Gotta figure out the best way to manage those resources. Like, take some fun classes, have some fun. Like, you're paying money anyway, right? You're paying money anyway. So enjoy yourself, enjoy your classes, right? So that's really important. Yeah. Our dean wasn't mean, he was just a blabbermouth inserting life stories during actual lessons. Wait, your dean taught classes? My dean didn't teach classes. Yeah, college is more for networking now. This is kind of true. I definitely felt that at my second college. Yeah, I guess so I had, because I was applying to go to my second college, my grades were really important. I didn't know that when I was doing my first college. I didn't know that my grades would be so important. And if I had known, maybe I would have done things a little differently. But my second university, my grades were really important, so I couldn't actually fail classes. But I think you have to know like what's okay for your major, what's okay for your career path, and go from there. But yeah, for me, like, that was a big one. You did better in college in your rating education than you did in high school. I feel you. Like, I did better in, like, I did well in, like, I did super well in high school, but in college, I think I improved more. Like, I improved my skills more in college because it was harder. Yeah. That's how I felt. See you, Oshi. Thanks for dropping by. It's nice to have you here. Have a good one. Thanks again for following on Twitch. We may have failed at character creation, but we can improve in our gameplay. Exactly! Oh my gosh, that is... I love this. I'm gonna pin this. That's great. I love that. That's exactly it. We don't get to... we don't get as much choice in character creation, but we can at least control to some degree. To some degree. Not everything, but to some degree, we can control our improvement. Yeah. That's really important. Yeah. College is vastly different in the US versus the rest of the world, it feels like. Yeah, well, yeah, I did college in the US. I lived in the American realm. I lived in the US. I went to college in the US, so I can only speak for my experience going to college in the US. Teachers grading based off favoritism, that's messed up. That's so wrong. I'm sorry you dealt with that. That's bull. Yeah. I do think like sometimes, you might have made like, exactly, you do want to be careful with your decisions, but at the same time, like, you can always learn from your mistakes. So don't be like afraid to make mistakes either. Because if you're always scared to make a mistake, you're never going to be able to like move forward. You're never going to be able to like do anything without being stressed out. So like, yeah, you're going to make mistakes here and there, but try to be thoughtful about your decisions. But it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay, and you learn from them. And there's so many things I wish I'd done differently, and I can say maybe I kind of regret them, but I also feel like I learned a lot from those experiences. Yeah. The orange has appeared. Hello, Magic. How are you? So yeah, I think that's like the kind of broad answer to the first question I received. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, next question. Let's see. So this is a fun question for me. So that's not even visible. Okay, but the question is, besides streaming, what would your dream job be? Something you think you'd genuinely enjoy? I would like to be like a designer. Yeah. I think I would have liked to have been a designer. If I could go back in time, I think I would have liked to be like a product. Ooh, thank you. Thank you so much for the follow, Tanyar. Welcome. I think I would have liked to be like a product designer or like a graphics UI designer or UX designer or some kind of designer. Yeah, like where I get to like make apps or things like that, or design products or design content or something like that. Like a designer, I feel, is what I would have enjoyed. Yeah, something creative, I think. I would have loved a job that was creative. My current job is not really creative. It's not, I mean, there's some creative aspects to it, I guess, but I don't really get to create. So I think I would have liked, my dream job would have been like something that lets me be creative, that lets me be like, you know, using my art skills. Graphic design is my passion. Graphic design is my passion. Cheaply made ghost, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so I think that that's what I would have liked to do. Yeah. How about you guys? What is your dream job? If it's something that you're already doing or something you would have liked to do, like what kind of job would you have wanted to do if you could go back in time, or maybe something you want to do now or you're doing now? Yeah, for me, I think it really is graphic design. Maybe graphic design is that the right word for like UX design? Like designing systems, maybe. Being a CC is their creative outlet though, so you should be fine. Yeah. Content creator is my creative outlet, exactly. Graphic fashion? Maybe. I don't know if I'm very good at fashion. My dream job would be a motorcycle track tester, but unfortunately my body and history no longer fits the requirements. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, coincidentally, my best friend tests motorcycles. My best friend does test motorcycles. Yeah. Coincidentally, that's exactly what one of my friends does. But yeah, I'm sorry that that's not really something you can do as much anymore. Yeah. That sounds pretty cool though. I don't know if this is weird, but I would want to join WWE. What's WWE again? Is that the wrestling organization? No. Wildness? Is that the Wildness organization? Why am I getting them confused? Wait, what? Wait, hold on. WWE? What's WWE? Why am I not... It is WWE. I was right. It is the wrestling one. It is the wrestling one, right? I was thinking of WWF, like the World Wildlife Fund. Wrong one. WWE, the wrestling company. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You wanted to join WWE? That's kind of cool. You into wrestling? That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, Aaron, you used to have a racing background as part of the mechanical engineering education, but you had no dice. Oh. I'm sorry, is it something you guys still do for fun in your free time? Like just writing for fun? For me, it would be, Lauren says, for me, it would be opening up a small, quaint cafe that can hold up to 30-40 guests. The kind of cafe that you see in anime. Coffee, tea, cakes, and whatnot. Lauren, if you ever make a cafe, please let me know. I will come visit. I will eat all the snacks. I will buy all the cake. I would love to eat it. A small, quiet reading area, a place where introverts can study, chill, work while taking in the quiet atmosphere. I love that. Aww. I would like that. I would like that. I would like to visit. Yeah. You'll make me all the chalky cake. I do when I go visit my folks, but with my work life and having to move pretty much every 3 years, I don't have a safe place to store a motorcycle. Aww. I do kind of understand though, like not having time to do something you enjoy. I hope one day you have time to do it though. Like one day to just enjoy riding your bike and having a bike, being able to have a bike and place to keep it. Yeah. Evelyn, in all honesty, I want to work at an aquarium or rehab center for seals because they're so cute. Aww. Seals are cute. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be really cool if you could work at like a rehab center or like a conservation center and like work with seals. That's pretty cool. Shotflame, yeah, I just got done watching a live event. I see. I love being a designer, but my dream is to join the GT3 or Le Mans 24. I don't know these. What is this? GT3? I have to look this up. GT3. Oh, they're races. That's pretty cool. So I guess we have a lot of racing fans here. That's really cool. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, yeah. I ordered a motorcycle helmet though, so my head looks like a giant clownfish. Listen, helmets so important. Please wear your helmets when you're racing or even riding a bike. Like even riding a bicycle, you know? Yeah, that's awesome though. Hey, like first step, right? That's really cool. Libra, I'm about to make a career switch from carpentry to sailor on a river ship. Dang. Don't you get seasick? That's I couldn't do sailor, but that's kind of cool. So wait, do you live for days out on the sea? Like, wait, what? So wait, do you live for days out on the sea, or is it like a kind of daytime sea travel? That kind of work? Dinar, hello, welcome to chat. Hey, I can relate. I'm in my 3rd year of college in computer science cybersecurity, and during half of my first year, I didn't take responsibility for my grades and I got passable grades. But when I finally tried to love what I learned, the world changed and the try hard became easier. I could do 10 to 14 hours of studying with ease. I got to the top of my school, but now I want to put this amount of effort into other things like music, etc. Love what you're learning. Exactly. Oh my gosh, I totally relate. I totally relate. Yeah, I totally relate. That was me. Like I worked so hard in school. And then at one point I was like, I don't want to work hard in school anymore. And I started to be efficient with school. But then I wanted to work hard at content and things like that instead. So I totally get it. The ship is away from home for 5 days? What? What? That's amazing. I could not. I think I'd feel so like homesick and claustrophobic. That's really cool. Is it like a certain type of ship? Like certain type of gear? Mosquito, always wear your biking gear, people. Yes. But yeah, Tenyar, I totally understand what you're saying. Like I totally feel the same way. It's really important to try to find enjoyment in what you're learning. And sometimes you just gotta do it, right? Like sometimes it's like, I don't like this, but I have to do it. And you just have to kind of go in from there and do what you can. But that's like sometimes the best you can do. Yeah. You vibe with your mountain bike? Did I read that right? Did I understand that right? You vibe with your mountain bike? Let's go. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta find something that you enjoy within the things that you don't enjoy, or else it's just a pain in the butt. Like, what are you gonna do? You hate it the whole time and you still have to do it anyway. So either you gotta switch your major, or like, you know what I mean? Like you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. You gotta get through it. So might as well make it less miserable for yourself. I do like my current job to an extent. Controlling planes is fun until pilots decide to do dumb. Oh my gosh. Wait, that sounds so scary. Do you work at like air traffic control? Sounds like air traffic control. I still think that's really scary. I feel like being air traffic control is hella scary. Akatsuki, hello. Roro, hello. How are you? How's it going? Sorry, yawning. It's morning. Yawning. Roro, should I go track racing tomorrow? If you want to, please be safe. But if you want to, if you enjoy it, if you have the time, it could be fun. I do. That's good. Yeah, so let's go to the next question. What was the next question? And so this question was from Lawrence. Thanks, Lawrence, for this fun question. I liked it. Okay, I got this pretty tough question. And it's a really long. It's a longer question, and something. Oh my gosh, hold on. Let me think about how to. It's a little bit longer, so give me a second. Try to fit it all onto the screen. Okay, did I get everything? Is it all fit? Okay. It's big, but that's okay. I got this. Yeah. Yay. Long question. I like it's nice when you guys give me some detailed questions, because then I can kind of really go through the answer. So this question is from Kay. Thank you for your question. This is totally something I relate to. So I really appreciate like how like detailed your question was, because it gave me a lot to think about. So the question says, I always think I work in quite a toxic environment with a lot of passive aggression and work politics culture, which I do not enjoy at all. I tend to mind my own business and get my own work done even if I don't get help. I mostly wanted to be left alone. Recently, I learned that most people wouldn't listen to what you have to say if you have less work years than them, which to be frank pisses me off and slowly but surely makes me become toxic as well. How would you deal with those types of people without becoming toxic yourself? What do you think I should change in my approach? This is such a good question, and I have been dealing with this in my own workplace, to be honest. And in the beginning of the year, I really struggled to figure out what to do. It's hard when people are really passive aggressive, especially in a work environment, because how do you respond to that kind of passive aggression without making your relationships even more difficult at work? I do the same thing that you do, which is you want to be left alone. I try to just keep to myself. I do the same thing. There are things that I sometimes need to ask someone for help with, but that person is someone that I find kind of mean or difficult to interact with. And I've tried interacting with them, but they're not very perceptive. And unless I really need to, I sometimes just try to find the answer myself. And maybe that's not really the best habit. It's sometimes best, I think, to remember that work is work and you don't have to be friends with your coworkers, right? It's nice if you are, but you don't have to be. And what I think was the biggest thing for me is the first thing was to not take things personally. I'm the kind of person that can take things really personally and feel really hurt by things and upset by things people say. And I had to just be like, it doesn't matter. It's okay. This is just work. If they're mean, I feel upset about it, but what am I supposed to do? I can't go be like, you suck. You suck. Get better. Try harder. I don't like you. I remember one time I came home and I had such a bad day at work. I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I wish I could just say exactly what I'm thinking to my coworkers. I wish I could just be like, you're a freaking asshole. I hate you. Don't talk to me. I wish I could say that. I really sometimes wished I could say that, but that's not appropriate and it's not necessary either, because what do I get by saying that? I say that, I just make them feel awful. It doesn't actually fix the situation and I'm just still angry. So I think for me, it was really important to learn to keep a distance and be polite, and always just be polite so that nobody could ever say anything negative about me as an individual to make my life harder at work. So one of the things I'll give you an example of is your coworkers that are maybe a few years more experienced than you versus let's say your manager who oversees all of you or several of you. You want to be the kind of person where you're so good at your job or you're so thoughtful with people that if someone tries to complain about you, everybody shuts them down. There is one person in my office who's like this, who people like so much that they can do no wrong. And it means that if anybody, nobody even hints a complaint about that person. And you know what? I don't love this person. They're okay. They're not a bad person. They're a pretty good person. But I've had some issues with them. But I would never say anything about it because I know that people see them really positively. And I think my advice is to become the same kind of person in that you do your best to treat people well so that no one can say anything against you. In the sense of it's kind of hard to explain, but don't be passive aggressive, right? Don't be that person. Don't be the people that are doing this to you, because it's only going to get you in trouble. And I don't mean, I'm a pretty petty person. I'm not going to lie. I'm a pretty freaking petty person sometimes. And I want to be just as passive aggressive and I want to be just as mean. But it always comes back to get me in trouble. The person that was actually mean or rude is never the person that actually gets in trouble. It's always you, especially if you're the more junior person. Because they're more senior, they've established themselves more. They're more well-known and well-respected. And even if it's not really fair, even if you're working really hard, you're just gonna get in trouble. So my advice for this particular situation, right? This particular situation where you're dealing with petty coworkers who are senior to you, who are passive aggressive, And if you're someone like me who's not good with work politics, don't participate by not letting anyone pull you into it. What I mean is when someone comes to you and tries to gossip about somebody, just try to steer away from that conversation. If someone comes in to try to get your opinion on somebody, avoid giving them an answer. Because no matter what you do, you will lose. That is it. You're gonna lose. And I mean that because someone's gonna take what you say out of context, or someone's gonna take what you say and be like, oh, you know, Roro said this about so-and-so. And it's just gonna get you in trouble. So the best thing you can do as much as possible is to just not be a part of it. Is to just not let yourself get pulled. If someone's passive aggressive to you, just be in your mind, just ignore them. Just be like, this person is low. Like, this person is not worth my effort and time. Like, they can't even tell me straight what they need. Like, they're gonna be passive aggressive about it. That's okay, I'm not gonna deal with them. I don't have the time to waste. I have important things to do. I have work to get done. So I don't mean like you gotta be above it in the sense of like, you gotta be better than them. You gotta be genuinely nice. No, I'm not that nice of I'm not that nice of fairy. I'm not a super nice fairy. But I want to preserve myself and not get in trouble and not lose my job and not have to deal with that. So I will do what I need to do to ensure that I don't have to deal with it. So I don't know if that really answers this question. It's a really tough question. But you don't have to become toxic when you do that. Instead, what you do is you avoid entering into those kinds of toxic conversations. And I think that that's the best way where you know, it's pissing you off and you start to become toxic. You have to get to a point where you have to let it not piss you off. And that's really hard. That's the really hard part. Yeah, I find it really, really, really difficult. And so for me, I deal with it by, when I come home, I talk to a family member about it, someone I trust. I talk to a close friend about it once in a while that I'm really dealing with this. And that really helps me, is I can't ignore it. I can't totally ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. My mom's really good at that. My mom is actually a really, really nice fairy, and she's really good at not taking anything personally. I'm not good at that. I take things personally. I get upset. I get hurt. I just don't let them know at work that I got pissed off. I just don't say anything at work. But when I come home, I'm just like, and then I might call my mom, or I you know, once in a while when I get a chance to talk to my friend, we like vent a little bit. I hear what she's dealing with, she hears what I'm dealing with, and we, you know, we're like, you know, my friend heard me talk about my coworkers. She's like, Roro, they can't be real people. Like, no real people talk like this is horrible. And I was like, I know, right? It's not just me being weird, right? These people are mean, right? So that's what helps me. But just be really careful to not do that at work. Because I think at work, what you want to do is try your best to be like above reproach. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't stand up for yourself. If someone's coming down on you and you feel like that's unfair, I try to be really polite, but I send it back. But I send it back with the thought that if someone sees this, they see this as like a paper trail, I'm still not going to get in trouble. So I send it back in like the most polite way I can. But that's what I do. Just be really careful to not lose your temper at work. You can be really straightforward and honest when you're really dealing with something, but you have to be really careful about it. That's all I can really say. It's tough. Yeah. I don't know. That's like there's a lot here, and I don't think there's a perfect answer, but this is the answer that works for me. Tai Chi at work, yeah. What works for me is to like just really like I don't know. For me, it was just really to rein it in. Yeah. So I think I'll try to go simple-minded mode and just not process that toxicity. Maybe it's hard to do that for someone else, but at least try this way of viewing things. Yeah. I try to think of like, this is maybe really mean, but this is what I do in my head. I look at them and I say, wow, they're really immature. Like, wow, they're still like, they're being a child. Like, wow, they're like, oh my gosh, like that's so sad for them. Like, that's unfortunate that they think behaving like that as an adult is okay. I don't say this to their face. In my mind, I say this about them. I say like, wow. You're immature. Wow, you're a kid. And that helps me mentally to like not take what they say personally, because I don't think thoughtful adults would treat people the way that some of my coworkers have treated me or treated other people. And so I just say, hey, you know, I'm not gonna deal with that. Yeah, or you can be toxic to the wall, talk to the wall or duck or something that's not human or animal, vent it out all out. Yeah, exactly. You can vent it out. Some people I know have like blogs that they do to like deal with their work stress. I think there's a time and place to actually bring it up at work if it's becoming a problem. Like, you should stand up for yourself, but you have to find a good balance, because just remember, HR is not there for you, it's there for the company. That's really important to remember. But you shouldn't have to deal with inappropriate things or like really bad behavior. And it's easy to be like, oh, just walk away from your job, find a different job. But I know it's really hard to find a job, so I can't say that really easily. But if this is a job you need and you can't get away from this environment really easily, you know, the first thing I would say is try to get out of this environment. But that's really hard for a lot of people. And finding a job, especially nowadays, is so difficult. So I think what you can do is just protect yourself. And I mean that both like internally and mentally, in terms of like not letting the crap that your coworkers do get to you, but also in terms of your position at work. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Be frank without consequences is not in this timeline. Exactly. Like, you want to say it straight, like how you're so rude or you're so mean. You want to say that straight, but that's just gonna get you in trouble. And it's not fair. You should be able to tell someone what they're saying to you is not okay or inappropriate. But there are some people who, in an office environment, can be treated like they're above reproach. And it's not fair. But the only way to deal with that is to make it so that you're not put in a position of having to say anything to them. It's crappy. It sucks. I get it. Yeah. I don't know if that made sense. I kind of went like everywhere. There's a lot of thoughts I have on this because I deal with this in my workplace. I have so many stories from my workplace about like toxicity. Yeah, I have a lot of stories in my workplace, but I try. The nicest thing that, like the best thing I did for myself is, in the end, I was like, I just don't care about these people. Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them, obviously. I don't wish anything bad on anybody, but like, I just don't care about these people. Like, who are they? Like, they're not in my life. They're just my coworkers. Like, I have people I actually care about in my life and people I actually enjoy talking to, like you guys here on stream. Like, why would I waste my energy on these kind of people at my work? Like, what a waste of my time. Like, I'm not gonna... They're immature. Why do I have to deal with that? So I just don't. I don't talk to them if I don't need to. And if I need to talk to them and they're not getting me what I need, I find a way to really efficiently work around them. So I can give you one example. Well, also, let me quickly say hi. K4, hello. Foss, hello. I saw you came in earlier. I'm sorry. Foss, I did your question first. So after the VOD comes out, if you want to go back and see it, you can. Nice to see you, Foss. And Bob Maris, thank you so much for the follow. Reach Raikiri, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Thank you both. Thank you all. Welcome. Roro Stories makes Gistan just want to give Roro the biggest hugs. Aw, thank you. Listen, like, I've messed up. I messed up and made mistakes, and I did things that I deserve to be called out for at my work, right? Like, there are things that I should have done better or differently. So I'm not like perfect or something. Like, I messed up, and it's totally valid for someone senior to me to take me aside and say, Roro, this wasn't okay, or like, you know, you should have done this work better. Like, this report you did or this project that you did wasn't like what we wanted or what I wanted. Like, totally valid, you know? Totally valid. Or let's say I'm being really negative at work and it's becoming a problem. If a manager or a coworker takes me aside and says, hey, Roro, like, you know, I know you're going through a tough time, but let's not be as negative at work, or let's be more positive. Like, totally valid to get called out. But there's a way to do it. Saying something like, we don't want you here. Or like saying something like, nobody wants to talk to you. Like, something mean and rude like that is so unnecessary. So there's a way to like tell someone that you're not okay with their behavior, and there's a way to not do it. And in my office, people have a habit of saying really mean things, especially because we tend to be really stressed in my office. So sometimes people lose their filter and they aren't nice. They become really mean. And I'm not the kind of person where even when I'm stressed, I don't become mean to my coworkers. I'm not like that. When I get stressed, I cry. I cry a lot. That's the kind of person I am. I stress cry. I don't stress become an asshole. So it was really hard for me to deal with coworkers who under stress would become really mean. And I dealt a lot with that. And so I am not okay with that. And that's just where I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have to put up with people being mean to me about this. So I'm not gonna talk to them. So I don't go out of my way to be like really nice to them or anything. I just try not to interact with them. Danjo, I'm not ignoring you, but you're also not really adding to the conversation by asking me about finding like your perfect person in Japan. Like, what do you want me to say, bro? Like, I'm being nice by not engaging with your comment, because what I would normally do is insta ban you, but I'm not. So not right now. Don't come at me of like, oh, are you ignoring me? Yeah, I am, maybe partially because you're not adding to the conversation. You're not on topic. What am I supposed to say to you? I don't know if you're gonna find the perfect someone for you in Japan. Do you? What do you want me to say, bro? What do you want me to say? Ace, how are you? How's it going? Yeah, exactly. I always find that kind of person anywhere you go. So that's how it is. Yeah. If you ask Dandrew, if you ask a question, if you have something to add to this conversation, I will absolutely read your comment. But I'm not gonna read out loud comments that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. Yeah. And if you want to have a conversation about something like that, then maybe this isn't the time or the stream to be having that conversation. But yeah, so I think that that's like my recommendation. It's tough. It's tough. I find it really difficult to deal with coworkers. But I just try not to say anything to them. Yeah, I just try not to say anything to them because it doesn't help to be mean to them back. It just makes me a bad person. It just makes me, like you said, makes you more toxic as well. So I try not to. So that's kind of what happens. Yeah. It's just feeling the fire, exactly. But it's really hard. And I hate it when, and okay, this is my little pet peeve. It's really easy for some people to be like, you should just be the better person. Like, that's so easy to say. That's so easy to say, like, yeah, you just be the better person. It's really hard. It's really hard to like ignore people being mean and not want to be mean back because like I said, I'm petty. I get mean back. But I also realized that, especially in an environment like what this question has, which is that they're senior to you, people will take the side of people they know more than you, especially if you're more junior. And it's really unfair. And it's really frustrating when people won't listen to the whole story or like treat you like that. But all you can do is just kind of protect yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I've always tried to be positive light in the workplace. I think it's part of my job, but it's much more of a nonverbal skill. People don't understand how much having people that know how to de-escalate internal situations can be just as helpful as efficiency at the job. It makes everyone stronger as a whole. Yeah. You know, Goshira, you sound like someone who'd be a great manager. Yeah, like exactly. Knowing how to de-escalate is really important. Knowing how to respond thoughtfully in a difficult situation is really important. Yeah, I'm still really bad at a lot of this. I'm still dealing with this in my workplace, like I said. But for me, the answer has been to just not engage with those people. And sometimes you have to work with them here and there for your job. But I try to keep it really professional. I try to keep it really, like I don't, and this might be mean, but I'm the kind of person that used to ask, like, how's your life? How's your partner? How's your home? How's life going? And ask them about their life and try to like be nice and friendly. And now I just don't. Now I'm just like, I just keep it to work. I keep it really strictly to work. And I just don't want to waste time with them and pretend like I'm that nice. I'm not. I just try to be more positive and focused on work. I try never to complain in front of them. I try to make it so they can't get mad at me about anything. And if they get mad at me about something that I feel like I did fine, like I did this project really well, or I did this report really well, and they're getting mad about like a random typo in it, I just ignore them. I just don't even like engage with them. Kiro, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. I like to be a bit petty. I would do something like small, like making everyone else coffee except the person you don't like and say you just forgot. I feel that. I feel that. I wish I could do that, but I think like in my workplace, it's kind of hard to do that. What I do is I just straight up don't get them coffee at all. I don't get any. Oh, you know what I did, for example? I can give you an example. So we have interns that come in, and my company pays a lot of money to do intern events, okay? My company pays a lot of money to do intern events. And we get like a budget for certain intern events. And all the rule said is that for every employee, there has to be one intern. And so there was 2 interns, and it was me. And in my team, there's 2 other people. And I don't get along with either of them. They're 2 senpais. They're 1 year above me and 2 years above me. So 2 different people. They're both kind of mean. And, you know, they're not bad people. And I'm saying all of this, they're not bad people, but we just don't get along. And they were really mean to me. And I don't feel comfortable around them. And I don't like talking to them. And I try not to work with them as much as possible. But sometimes I have to. But anyway, so this intern thing. And I was like, hey, I want to go to this like really nice restaurant for an intern event. And, you know, I'm sure they would have loved to come. But I just straight up didn't invite them. I was the one who organized the event. So I organized it with me, 2 of the interns. There were only 2 interns, by the way. So like it wasn't like I was excluding any intern. I would never do that. That's horrible to do to an intern. So 2 interns. And then I invited someone at my work who's not actually a straight employee. Like they're an HR employee, but they're really nice and someone I get along with. I invited them. I said, hey, you know, would you like to go take the interns to this nice restaurant? And yeah, I took them to this really nice restaurant and we had a really fun time doing this like little event. And I could have made it like a team event, you know, like where like the interns get to chat with like us teammates and stuff. But I was like, I'm not gonna plan and execute a nice fancy dinner for people who are assholes to me. No thanks. So I didn't make it like a huge like, hey, let's do a team dinner event thing. I didn't do that. So that was me being petty. Maybe they won't even notice. But if they ever ask in the future, I'll be like, yeah, I took them to this like 5-star restaurant. I didn't have to pay for it. The company paid for it. But I took them to a 5-star restaurant. And I got to talk to the interns and really have a good time chatting with them and stuff. And if these 2 senpais had come with me, then I probably couldn't have been honest and enjoyed the conversation because I just would have been stressed the whole time about, oh, what are they going to yell at me now for? Or what are they gonna like be annoying about now for? So that's what I did. So to me, that was my being petty. My being petty was I didn't want to hurt anybody, but I was like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to be nice because the me in the past would have invited them. I would have planned and gotten approval and like gone through all the hoops even while I'm busy to plan like a nice dinner for the team to introduce them to the interns and the interns to learn about our team. I would have done a lot of work. And I was just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my time and effort for someone like that. So that's how I am petty. I am petty by putting in effort for the people I care about and putting in 0 effort for the people I don't care about. That's how I'm petty. Yeah, so that's what I did. That's an example of what I did to deal with the toxicity, is to be like kind of like to limit my energy for the people and the things I care about. So I like this HR person that I work with. She's really nice. And I wanted to treat the interns to something good. So I planned it for them. And sure, they might have been like, oh, hey, we would have liked to come. And I would have been like, oh, that's cool. You can plan it for yourself next time. Yeah, maybe you can plan it next time. That's what I'm going to say if they ever asked. But yeah, I haven't talked to them in like weeks. So we'll see. That's what I did. That was my petty response. Yeah, get it done work vibe. Exactly. Also, Ace, how are you? I hope you feel fine. May not be fine. Have a break with Kit Kat chocolate. Oh, thank you. I'm okay, actually. I'm doing okay. I've just been a little sick. I don't know. I've been having more headaches recently, but I think that's just because of the weather being wonky. It's really hot. Yeah, Jury, hello. How are you? No worries. I hope you got some good rest. Real Master J, hello. Bad Karma, how are you? Karma, how's it going? Yeah, Shock Flame, sorry, you wrote something. Let me read what you're saying. 1 second. I've met a lot of people who always tend to blame me for their problems, and then whenever I try to explain one of my problems, they try to say one up me with a problem that they may or may not even be going through. It gets annoying, but what you're saying is true. Just don't feel the fire. Oh my gosh, is the person you're talking to literally like one of my coworkers? She does the exact same thing. She like does the exact same thing. She'll like one up anything I say. Like she'll like, I'll say one thing and she'll. So I have one coworker who'll take what I say and turn it into something negative. And then I have another coworker who like takes anything I say and tries to one-up me on it. And I just get so tired of dealing with them. I'm like, what is your problem? Like, I'm not even like, I don't care. So I just don't talk to them. Yeah, I just don't waste my time. Yeah, there's like 7 questions. There's only 7 questions. That's not a lot. Oh, I guess we have a couple more questions. But yeah, I can tell you guys more work stories as we go along. But I think that, you know, to answer your question here, so to summarize, how would you deal with these types of people without becoming toxic yourself? I try first and foremost to not deal with them as much as I can. Try to, like, when I say avoid them, obviously, you know, you have to be in a work environment, you can't avoid them, but avoid entering into conversations with them that don't have to do with the work. But my second tip is when you have to work with them, keep it strictly professional and keep it strictly positive. And 3, if there's anything you're dealing with these coworkers, make sure it's in writing. And I say this because this is really important to protect yourself. Never do anything with coworkers who don't have good intentions or have the best of intentions for you. Never do that, anything like that verbally. Always have it in writing. And I mean that even if they give you work to do, have it in writing. So if someone, like a manager comes in and says, hey, Kay, why is this not done? You can be like, oh, well, you know, this person said that they would do it. I have an email to prove that they said that they would do it. You don't have to say it like, you can just say, oh, yeah, XYZ emailed me that they would do it. I can send you the email if you want so you can take a look. You can say it like that, right? Or if someone says, hey, Roro, can you do this? And I'm not supposed to be doing it or I don't want to do it. And I would respond saying, hey, you know, I don't have a lot of bandwidth, but I can do this part of it. And I would have it in writing because if someone comes and says, hey, this got messed up, who effed it up? I can say, oh, well, I was responsible for this piece and I sent it back on this day. And you will always have protection for yourself, right? So that's my 3 pieces of advice. Is 1, limit your interaction. 2, when you have to interact, keep it professional. And 3, keep your interactions in writing because it's a work environment and things will come back to bite you in the butt. And at the very least, even if you have to leave the company, at least you can leave with receipts. So that's how I think of it. Then what do you think I should change in my approach? That's what I would change in your approach is you don't need to become... It's hard. It's easy to become toxic. I was really toxic in the beginning when I was dealing with all of this. But, you know, it's like, it's really, really difficult. But yeah, I think like you don't need to become toxic yourself. And it's hard to not become toxic, but you have to do your best to like maintain your health because it's just gonna hurt you in the end if you let it get to you too much or you become too toxic. You have to handle what you can professionally. If it's really a big problem, you take it up with HR. You have to do all those things, of course, but at some point, like, it's just gonna hurt you and they don't care. They don't care that it's hurting you. Like, they don't give an F. So all you can do is just be like, you know what? These people aren't worth my time and energy. I'm gonna spend that energy on something I actually enjoy. I'm gonna go spend time with my friends, things like that. Yeah. Turfkey, hello, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Hello, Yang, welcome. I work too. I have a job. I have a job. I have a full-time professional job. Okay, let's go to the next person. Next question. I'm not the type of actively being petty. Especially to someone I don't like. And normally, the only time I would communicate with them is work-related. However, if they pick on me, at the time I would reconfirm gladly with loud voice and monotone that would hinder everyone else, including the higher-ups, and take all the consequences. That's totally valid. I do that with writing. I do it with writing. I take what they say and I forward it to people. And I don't mean like in a petty way. When a manager came at me about something that wasn't done, I literally emailed them back and I put the email that someone else had sent me in it and I sent it to them. I said, oh, you know, like this person said that they were going to do it. Maybe you can check with them. I was like, I'm not taking responsibility for this. I'm not going to get yelled at for this. Are you kidding me? It wasn't my fault. And I did the best that I could. I took responsibility for what was my job. But Yeah, that's how I deal with it. I deal with it in writing because my workplace is more like spread out, I think. So we're not often in the same room as each other. So yeah. Okay, Jiri, you wanted a dinner recommendation. Unrelated, but you wanted a dinner recommendation. So my idea for dinner for you. Okay. Email is evidence. Exactly. Email is evidence. Email is evidence. Always, 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 always have things in writing. There are things. Okay, here's one last thing from the last one. The really sad thing is in my work, we use Teams and we have like a retention policy because we work with a lot of confidential information. So Teams auto deletes every week or so. And it doesn't, there's no date. It like auto deletes from the week the message was sent. So 1 week after the message was sent, I think it just disappears. And I was a dumb newbie and I didn't realize. And there are so many things that happened over Teams that I should have screenshotted and didn't. And now if ever that situation comes up to bite me in the butt, I have no evidence for it. And it sucks. It sucks because I can't be like, this person said these kinds of horrible things to me. I can't say that because I have nothing to back it up and nobody's going to believe me. Because it becomes like a he said, she said situation, or a she said situation, because my coworkers are also women. But like, you know, I can't do anything about that. Like I feel so dumb for not having taken screenshots. And ever since then, I take screenshots of my teams. And I have a folder that I call my black box. And it's not to hurt people with, but it's to make sure that my job is not in jeopardy because of other people's actions. That's all it is. I would never mention it to people. I would never bring it up. When I leave the company, I can't take it with me because it has a lot of confidential information. I'm not allowed to remove it. But it's there where if anybody ever comes at like my evaluation or a promotion to say something to me, I have it saved to protect myself. And it's unfortunate that people can't have integrity because I would own up to the things that I did, even if someone had evidence or not. But not everybody's like that. And unfortunately, that's the reality in a workplace is you have to look out for yourself. Yeah, I know that's very doomsday, but this is not a utopia. This is how my mom is a very sweet utopian kind of person. She would never take screenshots of messages. She'd be like, oh, people would never do that. No, mom, people are mean. People are assholes. Okay, I take screenshots. I take screenshots of the disappearing team's messages. Yeah, that's what I do. That's one of the things that I started doing. Okay, Jiri, your choco bars didn't show up, but you said, "Oh, I have to read this in the nice voice." Oh, our benevolent Roro-sama, please bestow upon us your wisdom and guide us into the promised land. Could you recommend me a menu for dinner tonight? Okay. Let me tell you, what's a good dinner? What's a good dinner idea? Are you taking me on a date, Jiri? Are you taking me on a date? Are you taking me on a date? I want to eat choco cake. I want to eat choco cake with coffee. I want to eat nice choco cake with coffee. With ice cream. No, not ice cream, sorry. I just want choco cake with coffee. Yeah, thank you. I'll take 2, please. Thank you. Yeah. Chocolate cake for dinner. Listen, I eat cereal for dinner. Don't tell me I'm wrong. It's okay. It's right. But okay, bread or... Okay, do you want bread, rice, or noodles? What is it? Bread-based, rice-based, or noodle-based dinner? Jiri, you gotta answer my questions. So I can help you find dinner really quick. Do you eat cereal on a glass? What? In a glass? Like in a mug? Sometimes. I do. Not gonna lie. Rice-based. Rice-based. Okay. Pick your protein. Pick your... No. Sorry. Don't pick your protein yet. Pick your cuisine. What cuisine do you want to have? Do you want Thai? Do you want Indian? Do you want Korean? Do you want Louisiana style, I don't know, gumbo cuisine? And as you're answering, I will respond to some comments. Yang, screenshots. Exactly. Got a screenshot. What about the times they come up to you first? They tend to be mean or spiteful and it's kind of hard to ignore someone who's just standing there. How would you deal with them? If it's becoming like a repeated issue where they're bothering you in your space, I would genuinely bring it up with a manager and say, hey, I'm trying to work and this coworker really kind of keeps coming up to my desk and it's not really clear that they want to talk about work, and I'm having a hard time getting my work done. Put it on them. They don't want an unproductive employee. They don't want someone who's not able to do their work. Companies will do anything to make sure that you get your work done. So you can say that this is an impediment to your work. Thai, Korean, Chinese. That's such a... I love that combo. Thai, Korean, Chinese. That's a tough one. When I think of Thai, I want to think of like some kind of like coconut curry and rice. But Korean, I'm thinking of what are some... There's so many different rice-based dishes. For me, I just love something really quick and simple when I'm cooking dinner. So I like bibimbap. Chinese. You can make stir fry if you have leftover rice, maybe. Leftover rice, protein, veggies. Make some stir fry. You can make stir fry with curry. Or you can make curry with your leftover veggies and stuff and put rice on the side. That combo sounds spicy. I think that's my recommendation. Maybe you want to eat some yummy stir fry. Maybe Thai style. Maybe almost when you say Thai, Korean, Chinese, I suddenly think of like Singaporean. Maybe some stir fry. Did that get sent twice? No, it got sent once. No worries. I think the automod caught language stuff. Yeah. Had cookies for breakfast. I love cookies for breakfast. I want to eat cookies for America cheese. Oh my gosh, guys. Sometimes here in Japan when I try to go buy cheese, and I was looking at the cheese options. And if you go to like a convenience store, it literally says processed cheese. That's the name of the cheese. On the back it said processed cheese. I was like, I don't know if I want to eat this. Is this Kraft Singles retro style? Coconut curry, I'm gonna have to try that. Sounds nice. It's really yummy. I really recommend it. I love Thai coconut curry. It's kind of Swedish. Stir-fried Thai, spicy Chinese, and savory Korean. Yeah, you could have like, I don't know, maybe have like coconut curry with tteokbokki and dim sum. Is that too much food? I would love that. Maybe dumplings. You can have like honduen on the side and like stir fry. That way you can have like a soup, like honduen, like soup like wonton soup, and then like have your rice main, and then have like a snack that's Korean. Maybe like that. Yeah. For learning Japanese, some go-to references. Ooh, that's a good question. Go-to references. I can give you... Okay, do you like video content? Do you want something that's really structured like lessons? Or like, do you want something one-on-one? Like what kind of resource are you looking for? Because I have like a really great creator I love that I would recommend for quick video lessons that I can link you guys to. Yeah, I can give you some. It depends. I have a lot in mind. I mean, I'll take anything. So, if you're a textbook learner, I would use Genki and Tobira, are two textbooks. Genki 1, Genki 2, and Tobira. If you like videos, there's this really great TikTok YouTuber.
Ooh, thank you.
Hold on, let me pull her up and link you, and then let me go to the next question. But her name is, I think her name is Sayaka-san. Sayaka-san kana? Sayaka. Yeah, and she makes some really well-made TikTok videos and YouTube videos. Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
Whoa. Yeah, it's her channel. She has, holy crap, she has 1.21 million subscribers. I did not know this. Yeah, her YouTube @ is Nihongo Dekita. Or maybe that's kind of hard to... Here you go. This lady makes really good videos if you want to learn. Obviously, like, this wasn't... Like, I learned Japanese partially through immersion and partially through like studying. Like, I had people around me that speak Japanese, so I got... My learning experience was a little different. But sometimes I'll watch her videos and like, you know, once in a while I'll learn something new that like I didn't know as well, or that helped me understand something better. She makes really good content. And she's a really clear teacher, so I recommend her stuff. Yeah. I'm Nihongo jozu. It's okay. You're Nihongo jozu? Nihongo jozu desu ne. Did you get Nihongo jozu? Yeah, so this is a video resource that I really recommend. Her content is really good. But yeah, okay. So this is from Random Orange. Magic, this isn't you, right? This is someone else, right, who asked me this question. It can't be you, right? Are you a Random Orange? Must be someone else, right? So how do you get pay from a boss that doesn't pay Choco every month? This can't possibly be from you. There's no reason for me to pay my mods in Choco. Why would I ever do that? Why would I ever do that? The Choco is all mine. The Choco is all mine. It's mine. I don't share. Rawr. Glah. Okay, since I answered that, you don't. There's your... You don't. Okay, next question. Okay, I like this next question. This next question is something that I can actually talk about. Really in detail, maybe. Let me... Spacebar. Yeah, spacebar. Thank you so much for the... Oh, I missed a few people. Fallen Halo, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. Yurui, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Jinkuro, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. But sharing is caring. I will share food, but not Choco. Choco is special. Choco is just for me. Choco is mine. I don't want to share it. I don't want to share it. It's just mine. Sharing is caring, Roro. No, it's mine. Truly a malediction, this Jose. Okay, so this next question I really like, and I can talk about this. By Anonymous B, thank you so much for the question. Okay, so I might be asking for a suggestion rather than for advice, but do you have any recommendations for ways to focus on work? Something like your favorite songs to listen to, seeing a part of your playlist would be nice, or what you do during breakfast when, if you do take them, focus has always been, what do you do during breaks when, if you do take them? Focus has always been an issue when trying to do anything. I totally understand. I used to really struggle with focusing. It's a tough one. Okay, so there's a few different methods to go about focusing. Also, Ing, hello, welcome. Nice to see you again. There's a few different methods to help focus. So you can listen to music, and I don't know if any of my own playlists are really good focus music, to be honest. I think finding a good, like what we're listening to right now, an instrumental playlist, even music that you like, but I recommend not listening to music in a language you know. Because if it's a language you know too well, you tend to like listen to the lyrics too much, maybe. Divided Zero, hello, welcome. So it might be helpful to listen to music that in a language you don't know as well, or music that doesn't have any words or lyrics can be really helpful. Another thing I like to do, and this is what helps me, is I work from home a lot, and I work pretty long hours, and I sometimes find it difficult to like constantly focus on work, and I just start to feel like my work is never ending. Like it's always there. It's always going on and on and on. So I like to put something I don't care about in the background. So like I'll put on like the TV and it'll be like a variety show. I turn on the TV in the background. For some people that can be the opposite. That can be so distracting. But for me personally, having things happening around me makes me feel less isolated and less like stressed about work. So then I'm able to focus. But if it's so quiet around me and like I just feel like I'm working all day long, I have a hard time getting work done because I just feel like I'm trapped. So that's what helps me personally. Something I used to do when I used to study for, there was this really big test I had to take to switch to a new college. And it was a really competitive exam, and the exam is like a long exam. And so I used to really struggle to focus. And so I would take my exam and I would take it in a coffee shop. I used to go to a coffee shop where people are being loud and I would take the test there to train myself to focus. And to be honest, I meditate. Like that's what helped me. I haven't done it as much now, and that's something I want to work on again, but it really helped me to just try to not think about anything or try to like focus on one thing and just breathe well. Something else I used to do when I was in high school is I would go running. It's kind of the same as meditation, but I would just run every morning before work. Or I used to run every morning before school, actually. So I would run every morning, and then it really helped me feel like energized through the rest of my day, and I had more energy and focus when I used to go running in the mornings than on days where I didn't. I don't know if there's like a science for that. I'm sure there might be some kind of science behind how your brain focuses following exercise versus before exercise, but that used to help me a lot. I used to go for walks or a run in the morning before class. But those are the things I did when I would struggle with focus, kind of more broader, bigger things. But for little things I would do to help me focus, sometimes when I'm working on something and I'm really tired and I'm just not getting work done, I get up and I take a 5-minute walk. So I would, if I was at work, I would walk around the office. We have 2 floors. So I would walk around the first floor, then go down, walk around the second floor, and then go back up. We have like a little staircase. That's what I would do. And if that didn't help, I would maybe take that time to do something else I needed to do in my day. So when I work from home and I'm feeling like I can't focus, I'll take 5 minutes to go wash my dishes, or 5 minutes to go pick up something, or I'll take a walk to the convenience store and get myself some lunch. So I'll try to do like a 5-10 minute break when I'm not focused to go do something else and come back. If your work is more flex time or flexible, maybe you can take a good 30-minute break or an hour break and go do something else. It might mean like, yeah, you have to work a little later into the night to make up for the lost time. But those are the kinds of things that I used to do that really helped. I don't know if I have like, I have an instrumental playlist I would listen to. But for example, the music we're listening to right now is by Yojo Summer. I like her music. She's on YouTube and Spotify, and it's all instrumental. Lo-fi, stream beats, any kind of lo-fi music. I sometimes put like lo-fi, I YouTube lo-fi study playlist, and I'll listen to that while working. So those are the kinds of things I would do. Personally, yeah. I also do the TV noise. Exactly. For some people, it can be really annoying, right? Also, sorry, Divided, thank you so much. I am glad you like my model. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I know the TV noise can be really hard. Like my mom gets super distracted if there's TV noise. But for me, it's the opposite. It helps me feel less isolated. So I like having TV noise. Or when I would go into work, I would put podcast on. And if I can't put a podcast on, I would just like listen to something really random that I am not that interested in, just to have something kind of helping me feel less isolated. Yeah, those are the kinds of things I do. Usually instrumental music, I would say. I don't know if that answers this question, but I hope it helps. I hope it helps get you a little closer. Yeah, moving your body around can really help focus though. That's what really works for me. Dip, hello, how are you? So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Yeah. Focus is tough. I would say if you're comfortable trying out meditating is great. But if that's not something you do enjoy as much, I would try an activity that's a little more repetitive and uses your body, like running or walking, or slightly repetitive activities that use your body. And I think that they really help with focus, especially when you need a break. Yeah. I sometimes stretch at my desk. Thank you so much, Dip. Aw. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Wait, why can I not like your I can't like your comment. That's not fair. I can heart it, but I can't like it. Okay. Thanks so much, Dip. Thank you for the super chat. I will use this to get myself a choco that I won't share with my mom. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Or nap. Oh my gosh, wait, no, that's totally that too. Okay. When I work from home, I love working from home because when I'm having a really rough day and I've worked for like 5 hours and I can't focus anymore, I take an hour nap. I go nap for an hour. That is so yeah, totally, absolutely. But I try not to do that too much because I just sometimes wake up really sleepy. There's like an optimal amount of time to nap. They say it shouldn't be 2 hours. It should be like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or something like that. 45 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. There's like an optimal amount of time to nap. So that's what I recommend. Jury, oh my gosh, are you me? That's exactly why I love working from home. We had a choice. They're doing office construction right now. So they said you can do hybrid or you can work from home. And I immediately was like, I'm not coming in. That way I don't have to deal with people in my office. Yeah. The nap that leaves you more tired than awake is the saddest nap. Bro, what a mood. It's so real, so real. Flashback from learning law before the test at Starbucks for 4 hours. Learning law before the test? Oh, like learning the rules for your test? Yeah. I try to sleep 30 minutes, but then I sleep for 2 hours. Yeah, there's like an optimal time. I take too long a nap sometimes. Exactly. So like, I Googled it once because I was having such a hard time waking up from naps that there's like an optimal amount of time to sleep when you're trying to take a nap in the middle of a work day. And it's like 45 minutes or 55 minutes or something like that. It's like one sleep cycle or something like that. Yeah, I love taking naps when I'm having a long day. I feel you. I used to never nap in school, but now I do. Now I do. As an office lady, I take naps. Okay, when do you think is the best time to study or revise for tests? I love this question because I think I was really good at this. I was really bad at it growing up, and then I became really good at it. Here's my quick story. I was a crazy procrastinator in high school because high school, like, I just didn't do anything until the last minute, and I would like study all night before a test and then wing it the next day. And it was fine. It was fine. And then I tried to do that in college, and I realized, holy crap, we learned so much material. We learned like the equivalent of one semester in high school in like 3 weeks of college. Like, this is not working. And so what I started doing is I would study every day, but only for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So every day I had a class. So let's say I had an hour of, I don't know, chemistry. I didn't have chemistry. Let's say economics, because that's what I was studying. I had an hour of macroeconomics in the morning, and I had my other classes. I would usually finish class by like 1 p.m. because I front-loaded my classes to be in the morning. And then I would go home and chill. I would maybe work out. I usually worked out in the morning, but let's say I had something I hadn't worked out, I would work out, or like I would go take a walk or do something, enjoy my time, play video games, watch TV, read a book, do whatever I enjoyed for like a couple hours. And then around 3 or 4 o'clock, I would sit and I would go through the stuff I learned in class for just like 30 minutes of class. I would just kind of go through my notes and try to understand. I would mark or highlight, like, what is it? Like put a little sticker where I didn't understand something. I would do that. I would kind of go through and kind of mark the things I wasn't really following. And if I could, I tried to figure out the answer right away. But if I couldn't, I was just like, okay, maybe this is something to ask the teacher next time in class. And then the next day, I didn't have the class. So let's say this class is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The next day when I didn't have the class, I would do whatever homework I had for the class if I had homework. Or I would just try to review my notes for like 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, just look through and just be like, what did I learn yesterday? Oh yeah, like I did this, we did that. Oh yeah, this part was really hard. I need to ask the teacher about this or whatever. And the next day in class, I would ask the teacher about it. I would ask the teacher about it after class if I could, or before class, or if they had office hours, I would ask them about it. And that's what I did every class is I tried to just review it for like 20, 30 minutes. And then I did not study or revise that long before a test. I would maybe study like 3-4 hours the day before an exam. Sometimes a little longer, it depended, but I wouldn't study crazy hard before an exam. Because I just felt like I would be tired the next day and I didn't feel like I could learn everything overnight. So for me, it was revising little by little leading up to the test. And so I tried to not cram. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, that's my recommendation. Glippered, sleep well, have a good one. Thanks for dropping by. It was nice having you here. But that's my recommendation for best time to study and revise for a test is just a little bit every day. You don't need to study for like an hour per class. I mean, okay, it depends. It depends on how much work your class is, but you shouldn't feel like you need to study for like 10 hours to learn like the material. And sometimes it's okay to not know things. If there's like a bunch of... Thank you so much for the follow, YOLO. Welcome. Let's say there's like 10 different topics in this thing that you learned yesterday, and you get 9 of them. That's great. And let's say this last topic you're not as strong at. That's okay too. And let's say the test is coming up and you study that topic and you're still really not getting it. It's okay. As long as, it depends on your test, but as long as your test isn't only on that one question, you are going to be fine if everything else is good. So don't worry too much about perfecting everything. Try your best to learn everything well. And if there's something you're not understanding, try your best to kind of figure it out or get some help to figure it out. But don't spend all your time and energy stressing over it, because hopefully if your professor is a good professor who made a well-rounded test, being bad at one topic isn't going to tank your score. It shouldn't tank your score. It shouldn't be like the test is all on one topic. That's really important. Yeah. So that's my kind of advice, is to study a little bit every day. And let's say, you kind of get off track and you're not able to study every day. That's fine. So here's what I used to do. For any class where I wasn't able to keep up with studying every day, about 3 weeks before my exam, I would rewrite all my notes into a neat notebook. So what I used to do was I would rewrite my notes from class in the evening after class into my notebook. So I had like my class notebook where I would take like these scribbly notes and kind of write down whatever I needed to write down during class. And then I would come home and I had like this really nice notebook that I would write my notes, kind of condensed and really neat. I didn't take too long to write it, but really briefly I would condense my notes. And then in that notebook, I would also write my questions like, oh, I don't understand this part. Or like, I would ask myself quiz questions sometimes in my notes, like, what is the formula for XYZ, right? I would write on the side and I would keep that in my notebook. And then I would try to study that leading up to my test, right? I would review that the 2 weeks before my test. But let's say I didn't get a chance to do that. I would try to write condensed notes for each topic that's coming up on the test 3 to 4 weeks before the test. And you don't need to do it all in one day. You don't need to do it all in 1 week. Just do a little bit every day. So if there's 10 topics for your test, try to plan it out a little bit and do a couple topics a week. Or maybe, I guess, if it's 10 topics, you need to do like at least 3 topics a week, maybe, leading up to your test. And try to keep try not to be learning anything new the last week before your test. That's, I think, my biggest advice is try not to be learning anything new the week before your test. At that point, you just want to get better at the stuff that you already know and become really good at the stuff you already know. So that's really, really important. So yeah, I hope that answers this question. Yeah, pro tips, ask all your questions you feel you cannot resolve by yourself fast enough to the teacher and the people around you. Yes, also try to ask the right questions. Question regarding which points of your subject will be valued. Know what to study smart and hard, easy clap, I guess. Exactly. So all that said, try your best to like not be learning anything for the first time the week before your test, if that makes sense. If there's something you're like, man, I just do not understand freaking entropy formulas making my brain, I don't know if this even makes sense. I don't even remember entropy, if there was a formula for entropy. Someone correct me, I don't remember my chemistry. Let's say there's a formula for entropy and you're like, I just can't remember this particular part of it. Try your best to remember it, but if there's something you just have to let go, it's a lost cause, it's a sunk cost, just let it go. Try your best to be able to work around it or work as much as you can around it and answer as much as you can for it. But if there's something that you're just like, it's not clicking, and you've done whatever you can to talk to the teacher to figure it out, then it's okay. Hopefully that one little topic will not tank your entire exam. I say that even though entropy is not a little topic, but let's not talk about it. Physics was my worst class. We don't talk about it. I was really good at biology. I was not great at physics. So that's kind of my piece of advice. Yeah. That's like my piece of advice. Yeah. But to kind of wrap it all up, I can tell you what you don't want to do, which is you don't want to be learning new material the few days before your test. The days before your test should really just be to like reinforce the stuff you already know. I learned this material, I'm just going to practice it. For example, you learned a bunch of math, now you're actually practicing problems leading up to your test, right? You're revising things that you've done leading up to your test. You don't want to be learning how to use a formula for the first time the week before your test, right? So that's my piece of advice. And the method I used, again, to summarize, is I like to condense my notes and rewrite them in like a little notebook. That was what I called my exam study notebook. I can show you guys. I wonder if I have a screenshot of it. I think I might have sent it to a friend on Discord once. Let me see if I have it, because I might have a screenshot. And I can show you how my condensed notes looked for economics. But yeah, that's my advice. Let's talk more physics. Let's not talk more physics. Let's not do that. Let's not talk about a subject that gives me stress. Let's not do that. Yeah. Has anyone of your peers insulted your dog before? This might have happened to me. That's horrible. Why would they do that? That's crappy. I would avoid them. But you know what I sometimes have learned to do now that I'm a little older, now that I'm an adult, and I've learned that sometimes there's positive ways to confront someone for their dumbness. I literally would have been like straight to their face. I've been like, why would you say that? Like, why would you say that? Like, why did you say that? Like, why would you say that? I just put them on the spot. I just straight up have no mercy sometimes. I am a pretty like introverted person. I'm conflict averse. I don't like fighting with people. I don't like arguing with people. I feel really stressed when I'm having an argument with someone. But there are some people where like I just look at them and I'm just like, why would you say that? I straight up said that once to somebody. Like, you guys, okay, you guys have seen me do it on the stream. You guys have seen me do it on the stream. Once in a while, when someone comes in with like a straight up off the cuff comment, I don't let it go. I don't just like, sometimes I'll just delete them or I'll like ban them or mute them on the stream or something. You'll see me do that. You might see like chats disappear here and there. Sometimes that's the mod, sometimes that's me. But sometimes I straight up am like, why would you say that? Like, what made you think that that was a good idea? Did your brain cells just take a nap today? Is that like what's happening? Is everything okay? Like, I just straight up ask that sometimes to people. Like, not in like a mean way. I just like, well, okay, maybe it is a mean thing and I have to accept that. But I have straight up said to someone like, why would you say that? Like, what made you think that that was okay to say? What were you hoping to get from saying that? So sometimes you can just put someone on the spot. But normally I would just ignore them. I don't want to fight with people. I just ignore them. But if they're like bothering me enough and in a public enough way where like it's kind of putting me on the spot, I just am like, what made you think this was okay? Oh guys, I found my notes. Oh my gosh. Bro, this is like, I sent this to a friend 2 years ago. Holy crap. Save image as econ1 and save image as... I'll show you guys this. I don't think I've ever shown this on stream before. I didn't even realize I had this. This is my notes from college. And I will show you guys on screen. Image. Hold on 1 second. I show you. Maybe I should have prepared this. I didn't plan on showing my notes and stuff. I don't usually show my notes and stuff to people. This is the first one. Oh my gosh, it's so big. Hold on. Transform. Fit to screen. Hopefully there's nothing in here that's too identifying. These are my notes from my economics class. I still have this notebook somewhere. Yeah, this is my notes from econ. This is my handwriting. You'll see there's some stuff written like underlined in yellow. I don't use highlights and stuff. I don't like highlighter. So I would just write everything in black. So my notes in class I would write in pen, so I wouldn't erase, because I had a bad habit of erasing because I used to have, like, I have a really bad issue with perfectionism. So I used to erase during class too much, and that wastes too much time, and then I would miss what the teacher said. So during class I would write my notes in pen, but I would write really messy. So then I would come home and rewrite just the really important pieces and the really important stuff that I wanted to remember for the test in my notebook like this. And then I have, I think, one more. Yeah. Let them punch you first. What? No physical fighting. No physical fighting. No, dame da yo. Dame da yo. That was my first one. And then I think I have one more. These are both econ because this is later in college. I wasn't this neat all the time. But remember, rewriting shouldn't take you forever. But the process of rewriting, oh my gosh. The process of rewriting used to help me remember, if that makes sense. So I wasn't rewriting to be neat. I was rewriting because it helped me remember what the frick I learned in class that day. Oh yeah, this is the part that I wanted to show you guys. This part right here on this part right here, that on the left column right here, that's on the edge of the screen, this column was my quiz column, where I would put a piece of paper under the question. And if you're in Japan and you know what like a akashito is, you can put like a red color piece of like plastic on top, and it would hide the orange text. So my orange text would disappear, and I would just have to answer the question. But if you don't have like that kind of akashito, I don't even know what it is in English, but it's like called a check sheet, I think, in English. But if you don't have a check sheet, I would put a piece of paper and I would put it under the question so I could only read the question, and I would try to answer the question. And this is how I quizzed myself. And I wrote these questions when I first learned the material because it helped me, because afterwards I forgot what was important. So this is how I used to do it. This is how I used to do my notes for economics. I don't even remember what class. It's average and marginal cost. I don't even remember what class this was. But yeah, economics has a ton of math. I also did like, my school had 2 types of economics. We had Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Arts, and the Bachelor of Science track is what I did because my dad wanted me to do more science stuff. And I just had a crap ton of math. I had a crap ton of stats and math. But this is just like basic like functions, I guess. But anyway, my point in saying all of this is that I tried to, this part on the left was really important to me because this is what I used to really use to study and memorize at the end for like the formula stuff, the stuff I just had to memorize. And the rest was like the actual explanations and notes. But this is what I did right after my class with the notes I had. And then I never worried about it. I just reviewed it like the couple weeks before my exam. That's all I did. Yeah, so I didn't like, I try not to cram. Because for me, cramming just doesn't work and it just stressed me out and I was just sleep deprived. Yeah. I didn't make notes in biology when I was still in college. Yeah, so I can tell, this is Cornell note format. It is a Cornell note format, that's right. Glad you recognize it. Yeah, and this was like a really skinny notebook. So I had like a regular line notebook, not a Cornell notebook, like a really cheap like dollar store line notebook that I used in class and a pen. And I just took notes like that in class. I did not make it neat. I did it in pen because like I said, when I used to write in pencil, I would erase because I'm a freaking perfectionist and it wasn't good. And I would like miss what the teacher said and I was really stressed out. I would write with a pen. But it was really messy. So I came home and I needed to review anyway. Like I need to review what I learned anyway. So I would come home and I would rewrite it neatly because I liked writing neat and it made me feel happy and good. It's like the people who journal. Like writing nicely and making it look pretty made me happy. Okay? So I would write it and make it look a little bit pretty. But I also didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't use a lot of colors and I don't like using a lot of colors. So I had black pen and then I had 3 colored pens. I had an orange pen, a blue pen, and a green pen. By the way, the orange pen is erasable. The orange, blue, and green pens are erasable. But I used to use 3 pens, and I mainly used orange to highlight important things. And I used the orange because I could use that red color check sheet to hide the text when I would use orange. But it took me like 30 minutes to an hour to rewrite my notes. And I wouldn't rewrite everything. I would only rewrite like the really important stuff based on what we learned in class. And based on what the teacher said, this is important, this is not important, or whatever, right? And that's how I learned the material. And then I would like review it here and there, like I'd review it maybe once every couple weeks or something, but rewriting was what helped me remember. Yeah, that's what I want to say. So you can do it in different ways. You don't have to rewrite your notes if you don't want to. You don't have to make them look neat if you don't want to. For me, it was just how I reviewed my notes for the class I had that day. Yeah. But yeah, this is Cornell note format. Yeah, listening to a recording is great too. Yeah, oh, you like my handwriting? Thank you. Yeah, listening to a recording is great too. I had one class where I recorded it because the teacher spoke really fast, and I used to take walks while listening to the teacher's lecture. That I did do, because that class was just too hard to take notes in. So I just gave up taking notes in that class, to be honest. Euphemine, welcome. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, welcome. Oh, sorry, thank you for the sub on YouTube. Welcome, thank you. But yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. So that's what I did for that class. But then when I got to my second college, so my second college is the one I mentioned briefly, and I don't talk about it much, but it's the one I told you guys is a plant school. It's a plant school. It's one of those fancy schools that's known as a famous plant school. There, I stopped taking notes. I stopped taking notes because I realized that the subject was very different from economics. I studied a different topic, and I just found that taking notes didn't help. And if the teacher said this is really important, I would write that one thing down. But I just didn't take notes. I just really tried to listen and pay attention. I just really tried to listen and pay attention to what they were saying. Shubi, thank you so much for the follow, welcome. I tried to listen and focus, and I would write down things here and there that was important, but I didn't take notes because sometimes when you take notes, you stop listening, if that makes sense. You kind of like passively write what they're saying. And my undergrad, like my first college was more, like economics has a lot of math and problem solving, so you need to take notes because there's like certain formulas and certain ways of solving, and it's very interactive. So it was really easy to take notes and it wasn't like a bunch of discussion. But my second college was a lot of discussion, and it was a lot of like opinions and there wasn't really a right answer. So taking notes didn't help as much. And I didn't want to take notes because I started getting more lazy and I didn't want to take notes. And I realized that it helped for me to just really listen and make sure I kept up with class. So I didn't really take as many notes, but I tried to kind of pay attention and listen. And one of the reasons I didn't have to take notes was because in my second school, teachers would give you like not teachers, but like upperclassmen would have like basically cliff notes of the class. And that's all I used. So I would keep the cliff notes with me and I would just listen to the teacher. And I would just listen to what they said. And I would have the cliff notes because in the end, like you can't, like some people, maybe if you have an amazing memory, you can just listen and maybe you just totally listened and that's fine and you can score really well. But like if you have a lot of topics and you need to be able to review and stuff, having notes is really great for review, but you don't have to be the one to have to write the notes. So in my second college, I found that I didn't need to take notes. The cliff notes were good enough, but I needed to listen in class properly so that I could understand the cliff notes better. Does that make sense? So I think of it as like you have an outline for an essay. You have an outline. You know that the intro is about topic 1, the middle paragraphs are about A, B, C, and the conclusion is about topic 2 or something like that, right? I had the cliff notes, but I didn't know what the frick topic 1 was. I didn't know what ABC was, and I didn't know what topic 2 was. I just don't know what those are just looking at my cliff notes. So I paid attention in class to kind of understand it better, and then the cliff notes made more sense. So then I didn't have to take the notes because just listening helped me understand the notes that I already had. So that's what I did. But yeah, that's like my recommendation. So you have to find what works for you. Yeah, I don't think it's right to have moral superiority because you take notes, but I think it's important to understand that like not everybody learns the same way. For some people, taking notes is the only way they learn and focus, and it helps them pay attention in class. But for some people, taking notes might actually be distracting for them in class, and they just want to like listen to the teacher and really, they're auditory learners. So I don't think there's one that's right or wrong. I think you have to find what works for you. But like obviously, if you're not taking notes, then there has to be some other material you're using to review at the end. Either you're using your textbook to review, or you're using someone else's notes to review, or like you're using your upperclassmen's notes to review or something like that, right? Obviously, you're still finding the material somewhere. Because if you're outside of class, maybe you have a recording of the class. That's a great way to review too. I used YouTube and Google. Exactly. So you use something, right? Exactly. And I think like what people forget is that you can learn this material in other ways.
Oh, thank you.
Aniki, thank you so much for the follow. You can learn this material in other ways. And maybe during class, writing it down is not the way for you to learn. Maybe taking notes is actually distracting. And that's what happened to me in my second college, was that taking notes actually became more distracting because it was a discussion-based class and I would miss the discussion and I couldn't follow along, and I was so stressed about writing everything everybody was saying, and like it was just really not useful. So I just stopped taking notes. I just listened. I had my cliff notes. I would use the cliff notes later to like review or study for exams. I would use the cliff notes to study for exams. I would just read the cliff notes for 2 weeks before my exam. So that's really, really important. So that's how I think of it. Using Google is cheating. Like, I don't know what that teacher is saying. I don't agree with that. Using like ChatGPT or something to write your essay, that's cheating, in my opinion. But like using Google to like learn material is, I think, so good because you know what? I had this teacher who was like this really nice teacher, but I could not like learn well from their teaching style. Like the way they taught was not helpful for me at all. So they were really nice. So I would go to class and try my best, but it just wasn't helpful. I would go watch like Khan Academy videos after to learn the material because Khan Academy just made more sense than that teacher did. And there are other times where I would use like a YouTube resource that would teach the material better. That's so valid. Like not every learning style is the same, not every teaching style is the same, and there's ones that are going to work for you and there are ones that are not going to work for you, and you have to find what works and doesn't work. And teachers who try to discourage that, I just sometimes wonder what they're doing. Like, that makes no sense to me. Google Scholar. Well, I guess that's a little bit like, I don't know the implication of using Google Scholar. I've used Google Scholar, but like maybe the way I used it in my major was different from the way you used it. Yeah, I do not advocate cheating. And I say that as someone who worked really freaking hard in school because there was no chat GPT and there was no like AI to write my essay for me. I worked really freaking hard in school. So I have like no patience for someone who's not willing to like turn in their own work and put their name on it. But I think there's ways to use tools effectively to learn better. And I used YouTube videos all the time, like for so many classes. I learned how to program using like, for one of my classes I had to do like MATLAB and programming. And like I used online resources to learn SQL for one of my other classes because like we didn't like, it wasn't like something I could learn in class, but I needed it for my research project. So like there are things like that you do, right? Yeah. It depends on like what kind of test you have though. Exactly. I think like exactly. That's how I feel about it. I think the reason I also have less bandwidth for cheating is because in my school, we were graded based on each other's grades. We were graded based on each other's grades. So we had what we call a curve. We had a curve. And it was really freaking painful because we had a curve. And that means that if everybody did really well, our scores were adjusted. And if everybody did really bad, our scores were adjusted. So in that kind of situation, and I had this happen in high school too, there was this one guy in my class, and it still makes me really mad that this teacher was just I just really did not like this teacher. I loved most of my teachers. I liked most of my teachers. Like I didn't get along with everybody, but there were like some really good teachers and they really tried to teach us. I was lucky. But there was this one teacher who clearly was so checked out of teaching and he was getting married or whatever. And like he was planning his like wedding the whole time during class. And this was AP history. This was AP world history. Okay, we're a bunch of 10th graders in freaking AP world history. And we're a bunch of competitive 10th graders in this competitive school, like this advanced program school. We were all really competitive. And there were these guys in my class and we would take these like midterm quizzes and stuff, like tests, right? History quizzes and stuff in preparation for the test. And the teacher would have us grade each other's tests. So we would take this quiz and then after we finished the quiz, we would swap with someone sitting near us. And we didn't have assigned seats. We would swap with someone sitting near us and they would grade your test and you would grade their test and then you'd all turn in your scores, okay? You can imagine what a crap show that was, right? Because my friends and I don't cheat. My friends will not change my grades or my answers to be right. I will not change their answers to be right. But this bunch of bros who sat behind me would trade papers with each other and then change each other's freaking scores, okay? They would change each other's scores and then this kid would get the highest score in the class. And like, if he really got that high score, then good on him, right? Like, but he didn't study. Like we know that he's changing his answers, right? All of us know he's changing his answers. And you know, a part of me might be like, okay, who cares? Like, okay, he gets a high score, but it's not like that affects me, like whatever. Like he's the one who's lying and he's the one who's gonna fail his AP exam, like not my problem, right? Like that's how you would feel about it, right? Like that's how I want to feel about it. Like I don't care if he cheats, it's not my problem, right? But you know how my class worked? Our grades were curved. So our class test scores were curved. So if, for example, the highest score that anybody in the class got on the test out of 100 points was 90 points, 90 out of 100 would become the new 100%. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if you guys have experienced that in your school, but it's called curved grading. So instead of getting 100% instead of getting a 90% as your score, that person would get a 100% as their score now because they had the highest score. So now all the scores are based on that high score. It's called curve grading. So this dude who didn't study when all of us were studying and working really hard to try to do well in school, in a really competitive school, by the way, right? Like this is not just some random ass school where like, you know, nobody really cares about their grades. It's like chill. We're all, you know, just friends and having fun. Like it was like a really competitive environment where a lot of people's parents were on them to get good scores and stuff. This kid would set the score for the class really high. And like some of us like brought it up to the teacher like, hey, you know, like people are not, like this grading thing is not working. And he just did not care. And I cared because this guy didn't study and he'd get a high score. And then all of us would get like B minuses or C pluses now because our scores are suddenly lower, right? Because it got curved. So the highest possible point is the highest score. Yeah, exactly. So that's called curved grading. So some American schools had that. And a lot of colleges in America are on especially bigger colleges are on a curved system. And anyway, the point was that in those kinds of situations, if someone's cheating and it doesn't affect anybody else, well, that's like, I, to be honest, just don't care as much because I'm like, well, that's your problem. Like, you're the one who's hurting your own education. You're the one who's hurting your own learning. Maybe it's going to bring you advantages in life. Like, I just really don't care. Like, it's your life. You do what you want. But when your cheating is affecting my score, I have things to say. I will not stand for you cheating and then that hurting my performance in a class. Absolutely not. If it's just you cheating, that's the teacher's problem. Like I might, you know, like that's the teacher's problem. The teacher can deal with you cheating or whatever. But if your cheating is affecting my score, I have a problem with you. But all my classes are like that. We had curved exams. And that was the one class I just like really did not like that teacher because I felt like he knows how stressed out we are in this class because we're college-bound advanced students in a really competitive program. And we've told him that there's this problem with exchanging tests where we will not cheat, but there are kids in the class that are cheating and it's setting the score high, and he just did not care. And these are the kinds of teachers that'll be like, oh, well, that's how life is. And I'm like, no. In life, there are things called like SEC investigations where companies that are cheating get taken to court and lose money. There are consequences for cheating in real life. Most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Don't tell me this is life or whatever, bull. Like, are you kidding me? So anyway, that was an experience I had in high school and college. So anyway, that's my little side rant about cheating. Don't cheat. If it's going to affect your classmates, don't cheat. If it only affects you, I don't know, do what you want. I don't care. Not my problem. But if you're hurting your classmates by cheating, then you should think about what that means. Yeah, but I don't think Googling is cheating if it's like used properly, right? If you're having Google write your essay, then I don't know what to say. Like maybe you shouldn't have gone to college. Maybe you should do something that you actually enjoy and that you don't want to cheat at. Maybe you should do something that is productive and you know, use the skills that you don't need to cheat to improve. That's how I would say it. Yeah. There's so many other really important careers that don't have to do with college that people just ignore. And I feel kind of bad for the students that are kind of forced into college. Yeah. Anyway, that's my little rant. They say it's cheating because it doesn't help you learn. They say it just gives you the answers instead of making you actually try and do some work. But I guess that only depends on the subject. I think that depends on the subject. If you're asking Google for the answer to your math question, or like, for example, Wolfram Mathematica. Is that what it was called? Wolfram Mathematica? I don't remember. I remember we had a program called Wolfram that would do the math for you. And like, that's kind of, it's cool. It's great to check your answers. But on the test, you don't get to use Wolfram. Like, what are you going to do on the test, bro? Like, you don't get to use this program on the test. You have to write the answer. So the teacher is right in that it doesn't help you learn. But then, I mean, it's going to hurt you, right? But then, okay, let me say this though. But if you don't want to learn that subject and you just don't care, then don't. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, if you don't care, like, don't hurt other students who are trying, but if you don't care, then don't worry about it. That's how I feel about it, right? Like there's some classes where I didn't put as much effort into it, and that's okay. Like I tried to do it myself, but I also was okay like checking my answers or like maybe not working as hard. And that's how I feel about it. Wolfram Alpha, oh my gosh, was it Wolfram Alpha? Jury, you know what I'm talking about. Was it not Wolfram Mathematica? I don't even remember. But yeah, there was a class that was like that, and I checked my answers and submitted my work. But obviously on the test, I don't get to use that. And yeah, I scored a little lower on my test. And I was okay with that because that wasn't like my main subject. And I was focused on my other classes. Yeah. So anyway, that's my little rant about. Oh, that's completely unrelated to studying, revising. But to answer this question, my kind of big piece of advice is try to revise every day if you can. If it's difficult, try to make sure you're learning all new material well in advance of your test, at least like a month before. But if you're getting close to your test, try not to be learning new material the week before your test. Try to be revising the week leading up, or at least the 3-4 days leading up to your test. There you go. There's my answer. Yeah. Yeah, review every day. Review a month before. But don't be learning anything new the few days before your test, because you will just feel pain and you won't really learn it and you'll just cram it. And you might be able to cram some of it, obviously, but you're probably not going to be able to cram most of it and you'll just be sleep deprived. You don't want to be sleep deprived. Yeah, Wolfram Mathematica is more for solving some symbolic mathematics. Really? Is that what it is? I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know that. Yeah. So anyway, that's my little side rant. Okay. But Farina, I hope this answers your question. I hope this is helpful. Do we suddenly get a bunch of new questions?
Thank you.
Hold on. We got a few new questions. Cool, cool. One second. Let me just look through really quick. How do I stop? Okay, I'm just gonna go do this one really fast. It's anonymous. But I'll tell you a really funny story. Now that I've told you some stressful stories, I don't wanna just have a ranting stream. I wanna tell you some funny stories. So how do I stop falling asleep? I'll tell you a really funny story about this. From school, from college. So I had this computer science class that I was taking, and it was right after lunch. And it was in this giant lecture hall that could fit like at least 300 people. It was like a 300-person class or a 500-person class, I think. So I was in this giant class, and it was dark. I don't know who decided that having a dark, giant 500-person auditorium classroom was a good idea. But they did. And this class was right after lunch, and I always fell asleep. I don't know why. I'd never fallen asleep in class in high school. Like, I've never had that issue. I don't know if it was a blood pressure thing, and I later found out that I have low blood pressure. But like, I don't know why, but in that class, I always fell asleep. Also, Chero, hello. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know who thought having a class at 1:30 p.m. after lunch in a giant auditorium with 500 people with dark, dimmed lights was a good idea. But I promise I was not the only person sleeping. But this was a class I really wanted to do well in. And I really enjoyed, like, we had these small section classes where we would kind of get to practice the material with a smaller group of people, like 25, 30 people. With like a TA or tutor. But the big lecture was like 500 people, and I really struggled. Was it comfortable? Kind of. I don't know if I was comfortable. It was kind of like, hey, it was more comfortable than an airplane seat, okay? It was more comfortable than a freaking airplane seat. But I fell asleep when I was sitting in this class. And so then I had this brilliant idea. To sit in the front row. Because I thought, hey, Roro, if I sit in the front row, I will focus. I will pay attention. And so I sat in the front row of this classroom in like 500 people, front row. The teacher's like maybe like 5 feet away from me, maybe a meter or two away from me. And I fell asleep again, like twice. This happened like 2 different classes. I just fell asleep the whole class. And I felt so awful, and I felt so bad for the professor because they were a really nice professor who was doing their best to teach. And I was just this dumbass college student who just couldn't freaking stay awake, and I fell asleep. And yeah, that's a nightmare memory from college for me, is falling asleep in this one class. Every single class, I fell asleep in that class. Yeah. That's what happened. So, what I realized though is that I really struggle in classes that are not interactive after lunch. So I stopped, well, if you're in college, you have more control over your schedule. I stopped putting classes that were big lectures in my schedule after lunch. I just stopped. Because I just felt like I couldn't do it. And so I found that I used to keep my classes from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. as much as possible, or like basically morning, like keep my classes in the morning and be done with my classes. And sometimes I would have a class that would be like right after lunch, but if that was the case, I used to skip lunch and just have the class and then eat lunch, because otherwise I would fall asleep. Or if I really needed to eat, I would have a snack, and then I would try to make sure that the class that was after lunch was like more interactive, like a lab or a discussion-based class, something where I was physically doing something so I could stay awake. So that's what I did. The other thing I did is I started like sleeping on time. I used to not do this growing up. I was like one of those kids that like slept at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., stayed up all night, slept at 5, woke up at 7 to get to school. Like I was one of those kids. But in college, I just realized like I like sleeping. I like sleeping, and I will sleep. So I started like sleeping at the same time every night and waking up at the same time every morning. And I stopped needing an alarm clock. So I didn't even use an alarm. I would just wake up. I would just wake up on time because I had such a good schedule. No matter what, I would sleep at like, I think I was like, I sleep at 12 and I used to wake up by like 7. Or maybe I slept at 11 and I woke up at 7, maybe around there. Now I do the same thing here as I'm working. I start work early in the morning. So I usually sleep around 10:30, or I get into bed at 10:30, and I usually am passed out by 11 or 11:30. I might do like read a manga in my, I don't know, I might read a webtoon before I sleep, or like, you know, message my friends before I sleep, or just, you know, catch up and do something fun before I sleep. And then I sleep by 11 and I wake up around 6:30 or so. I usually wake up around 7 a.m. I think. But I used to do it earlier. I used to sleep at 10:30 and wake up at 5:30 or 6. But now I sometimes have work in the evenings. That's a little late. Like I had a meeting at 9:30 p.m. the other day, so I ended up sleeping a little later. But that's what I do. I really recommend having a schedule. And if you still find yourself falling asleep at random times that are like unrelated to like I just ate and I'm full and now I'm getting like sleepy or things like that, I would, if you can, go talk to a doctor, because it could just be like an actual physical condition. Like in my case, like I have low blood pressure, so I try to eat like slightly salty snacks before class sometimes. Or I drink like, it's called oral rehydration solution, but in Japan it's sometimes called Pocari or Aquarius. It's like a solution for dehydration. I drink that sometimes to help me with focus, because I have low blood pressure and I get dehydrated really easily too. Dermster, thank you so much for joining membership. Welcome to Choco Enjoy. I hope you like the choco covered strawberry. Welcome. Thank you so much. Welcome. It's nice to have you here. But that's what I do. This is what I do. Apparently China students get nap times. That's nice. Can't relate. I love that. I wish I did. Yeah, I wish I had nap time. So when I was a kid in kindergarten and we'd have nap times, I hated it. I hated having to sleep during the day. And now as an adult, I'm like, bring back nap time. Ooh, thank you. The Falconator, hello, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. So that's how I feel. Yeah. You never got your chocolate covered strawberry? No, you have a Nutella now. You have a Nutella. You already leveled up to Nutella. Oh, young Roro doesn't know how precious nap is. I know. If I could go whack myself back when I was a little kindergartner, I'd be like, Roro, enjoy the sleep. Sleep well while you can. Sleep before they take it away from you. Sleep before society expects you to run on 3 hours of sleep. Aw, Dermster, thank you for the heart. I hope you enjoy using the emotes. Thank you. Yeah, so that's my recommendation, is to do yourself as much of a favor as you can to set yourself up to have good rest, or to have a schedule that works for you. And if all that fails, then I would really try to get in contact with a medical professional that can maybe see if there's something that's affecting you. Like maybe you're struggling with low blood pressure like me, or maybe you have some condition that makes it so that you're fatigued, and maybe you need to find out what you can do to help manage it. But for me, like, I have more salt. So, you know, some people are always watching their salt because they have high blood pressure. I'm the opposite. I have to add salt to things because sometimes I need a bit more salt. Yeah, I eat chips for snacks sometimes to get salt, but maybe that's not the best way to get a salty snack in. But there are times I've just straight up like eaten a little bit of salt. So You had a kindergarten nap times, can't relate. Oh no. I don't need an afternoon nap, but I need to lie down before my back kills me. Oh, what a mood, bro. Like sometimes I'll lie down on my back and like stretch or something, or do like yoga in my middle of my work day to help like move my body because my back hurts from sitting for too long. Yeah, especially ladies, if you have like or people who deal with like back cramping during their time of month, that can be really painful too. So I recommend adjusting how you sit if you're sleepy. Oh, one more thing if you're feeling sleepy is, if this is possible, if you're in a really big lecture, I had certain teachers that would allow students to stand in the back of the classroom if they were feeling sleepy. So during this class, like sometimes kids would walk to the back of the classroom and just stand and like participate from the back of the classroom because they just need to stand up for a bit. And if you stand up in the middle of the classroom, it's like can be a little distracting. I know some of my, like, you know, if it's an option and there's like a big lecture, sitting in the back of the lecture so you can stand up, or sitting on an aisle seat so that you can stand up. The last one I would say is drink water, and that can help you stay awake. For me, coffee doesn't help. Actually, I don't know if this is like a medical thing. I've talked to like my whole family, for some reason, we don't stay awake with coffee. Like my parents are the same, I'm the same. Like I can drink coffee and then go sleep. I can drink an espresso and go fall asleep. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, short dude. Welcome. So I actually found it really difficult to like figure out a way to stay awake during class sometimes because the coffee wasn't helping. So I would drink water. I would drink warm water. That helped me stay awake. I actually don't like the taste of Red Bull. Red Bull, like, it tastes wrong to me. I don't know why. It tastes like really artificial to me, so I don't like Red Bull. I don't like the taste of Red Bull. Yeah, so that's what I used to do, is drink water. And then this might be an option for you, is to talk to your professor or teacher and let them know that you're having this difficulty and you've been trying to fall, like sleep well, and you want to tell them you want to pay attention and participate in class, but that you sometimes might need to stand up. And is there any way you can sit in the back so that you can stand up and you know, or if the teacher, like, you know, need to leave and go get something to drink, drink some water and come back in. Step out of the classroom for 2 minutes, take a quick walk down the aisle and come back if you need to, stretch your legs out. Yeah, sometimes letting the teacher know, teachers can be really helpful and try to figure out a way to help you focus in class if you're struggling with it. But that's what I recommend. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Next question. Also, Magic, I know Magic, it's really late for you. If you need to go head out, don't worry. Sorry guys, for my poor mod, it's really late, so I was like, don't worry about it. Okay. Let me go through the next few questions a little faster. We should probably wrap this up soon because it's been a couple hours, a little over a couple hours. Okay. This is a really interesting question. Let me make this. I don't like the taste either. Yeah, but it just makes me feel a little nauseous, so I don't drink it. I tried it once and I was like, nope, nope, nope. Don't want this. It's fine, I can stay up a bit longer. Okay, but don't feel too pressured. It'll be okay, yeah. Okay, so how can I stay working on the things I want to work on? I have this project I'm doing. I want to learn Japanese and Indonesian. I want to do so much. And in a way, I'm afraid I won't be able to accomplish any of my goals despite having all this time. I get this so much. I get this, especially as a content creator. I get this. I have so many things I want to do. And you guys know sometimes I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm going to do this. But it takes me a lot of time to even get it done. And sometimes things are pending for like a year. So what I try to do, and this is what I do with my work especially, is when I have a lot of things I want to do or I need to do, I try to schedule it a little bit. I like to plan a little bit. So you want to learn Japanese, don't try to do a bunch at once. You have time, start and try to make it a habit. And this goes back to the first thing I said when we started the stream, which is consistency. 10 minutes a day of Japanese, or if 10 minutes is too short, do 20 minutes a day of Japanese, 20 minutes a day of Indonesian, and do it like it's a meeting. Do it like it's a meeting in your life. Like you know when you have a work meeting and you have to attend? Do it like that. Do it like it's a work meeting. You have a work meeting from 9 a.m. to 9:30. You cannot reschedule. If someone is like, hey, let's do this at 9 a.m., say, hey, I'm so sorry, can we do it at 10? Because from 9 to 9:30, I have a meeting. Or if you really want to go to this thing that your friend is doing at 9, do it at 8:30. Always do it before, don't do it after. Always do it before, don't do it after. That's how I think of it. So make it a schedule in your life. And so if you have certain goals that are really important to you, you have to schedule them into your life like they're a meeting with someone else. Because, you know, you're not going to miss a meeting with a friend, right? Would you just not go to a meeting? Like, let's say your friend and you plan to meet up for lunch, right? Like, you guys plan to meet up for lunch, or you plan to go see a movie. Are you just going to skip it? Like, are you just not going to go? Like, just be like, ah, never mind, I don't want to do it. Like, maybe sometimes if you're really not feeling well, you'll call your friend and say, hey, I'm so sorry, can we reschedule? But most of the time, you're going to go do it, right? You're not going to just not do it, right? Think of it like that. Think of it like this is a meeting with someone else and you need to finish it, right? You need to get through it. And keep it short. Don't keep it really long, because if it's really long, it can be really hard to start. But I find that the hardest thing for anything that you like to do sometimes can be starting it. When I used to go to the gym every day, I like really struggled to go to the gym. But once I was at the gym, I was fine. I would finish my workout and I was done, and it would go by really fast. But just for some reason, getting to myself to go to the freaking gym was really hard. So I made it a schedule. So every day, this was in high school, by the way, every day after school, because my high school started at like 7:45 in the morning. I did not go to the gym at like 6 a.m. or something. I'm not that cool. So I would go to school, be my nerdy self in school all day, and I would go to the gym right after school. Every single day, right after school, like it was my last class, I would go to the gym, work out, and then go home. And I think my mom was really impressed, because I was a really chaotic kid. I just studied all the time. I just read all the time. I was really introverted. I didn't get along with people. I just really like did my own thing. But for some reason, I would go to the gym every day. Just imagine a little introverted fairy Roro, and every day she went to the gym after school. Like every single day I went to the gym after school. And I think eventually I realized that was too much. I started going only like 3 days a week. Like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays after school I would go to the gym, and Tuesday, Thursdays I would go to the library. That was me. Yeah. So that's what I used to do. Maybe it's a weird way of doing it, but that's how I handled it. But I hope that this helps. Is that, I'm sorry I'm going through it a little fast. I think I spent a little bit of time on the other questions, but my biggest answer for this is I totally get it. You sound like me, where you have so many things you want to accomplish in life and so many goals and so many interests and passions. And I think that that's really great. And you shouldn't give up on them. And when you have time is like the most precious thing of all. Make sure that you use it well. And you can enjoy it. It doesn't have to be every day. Like, you know, once in a while you miss a lesson, okay, totally fine. But don't let it become a habit of like missing things. You have to really create consistency. So an example I can give you is, you know, I love chocolate and it's something that I really enjoy, but I'm also trying to like learn to not eat chocolate as frequently as I do. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't eat chocolate. Like, it's really random. It's really a tiny thing, but I try not to eat chocolate. Like, so how I do it is I eat chocolate every other day. So if I had chocolate yesterday, I ate Pocky yesterday, so I'm not eating chocolate today. And I might have chocolate tomorrow, but I won't eat it the day after. And some days I just don't have chocolate. But my point is I try to create consistency with my goals. And that's the only thing I can really recommend, is to create a habit. You brush your teeth every morning. You shower every day. It's a habit. You don't even think about it. You're like, of course I do it. I shower every day. Of course I brush my teeth every day. Like, it's a habit. So the things that are really important to you, make a habit. And they don't have to be every day. They can be like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, I do this. Tuesday, Thursday, I do language I recommend doing every day. But maybe for some of the other things you want as your goals, maybe do them like 2-3 days a week and set the days that you do them. Yeah, and they say it takes 21 days to form a habit. I don't know if that's actually true. But that's my advice. Okay, next question. I hope that helped answer your question. Who asked this? Ooh, it's pronounced like yoo-hoo, but without the Y. Ooh-hoo? Ooh-hoo, I hope this answered your question. Yeah, make a schedule. And don't stress out too much about it. You don't have to like, you know, make like a amazing color-coded schedule or something. Just make it like, okay, it's a class. 3 days a week, it's a class. I'm gonna study Japanese for 30 minutes in the morning. I'm gonna do something Japanese related for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, or Indonesian related for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. Okay, this next question was given to me by someone anonymous, and I'm not really sure, so I'm gonna put it up because I want to make sure you know that I saw your question, but I'm not really sure how to answer it because this is really, really hard. This is a really tough situation. So what can I do to make my family more bearable? I can't stand them most days. They're sadly slaps. I don't see what's so hard about picking up after yourself, and they just refuse to do anything related to cleaning for the past few years. This is such a tough question. If you are someone younger and these are family members who are older than you that are adults and responsible for themselves, I feel like other than bringing it up and telling them to like carry their weight, you have to, I feel like I don't know if I have an answer, but my answer would be moving out. I know that's hard and it's really difficult, but there's only so much you can do and deal with, and if it's really affecting you negatively, and it's not something that's being solved with a conversation, like a really strong sit down heart-to-heart conversation about responsibility and cleanliness, you have to take care of yourself. And it's really hard because I'm the kind of person that really loves my family, and I know a lot of you might come from families where you live with your family unit even as an adult. Maybe it's cultural where you take care of your parents or take care of family, and it can be really hard to deal with that. But even in those situations, you have to find a way to take care of yourself. It's really hard. I don't have a good answer for this, to be honest. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. That's really frustrating and really awful. And I know, like, I'm pretty clean. I'm a bit of a neat freak, and I know how difficult it can be to constantly have to clean up after someone or feel like you're constantly cleaning up after someone. I had a roommate like this who in college, and she's a really nice person, but she really struggled with cleanliness. And she would cook in the kitchen. She would get into like a cooking mood and cook in the kitchen. And then the kitchen was just chaos for like 5 days. And then she would suddenly clean it up. She would suddenly get in the mood and clean it up. But I really struggled in that. And at one point I had to be like, hey, like I really need you to like, especially when she would sometimes use my stuff. Like she would use like my like rice cooker. And she would just not clean it for like 2 days. And I told her like, I need you to clean this up. Like I need you to clean my rice cooker. And at one point I just took my rice cooker back to my parents' place. I just was like so done with, like I was fine with her using it. Like I'm totally okay with someone using my stuff, but it was like so difficult to have to deal with that at some point I just realized that I can't give her my stuff. And so I tried to be nice. I didn't want to make her feel bad, so I just gave her an excuse of like, oh, my parents needed the rice cooker, and I took it home. But to be honest, that was a really like difficult experience, was living with her and her messiness. And I know she really struggled with ADHD, and I know different people have really different struggles in life, but it was really difficult to deal with that. So I understand, even just a little bit how this feels. And it's really like, it can be really like you feel so unwelcome in your own home at some points when that happens, and you feel like you're being used by someone else. And it's a really, really crappy situation. And I'm sorry that that's happening with your family. I really don't have an answer. I think the easy answer is to say move out and find your own place, but that's not easy, especially in the economy, and if you have like bills and job, like a difficulty with like paying off things, and rent is really expensive, and there's a lot that makes it difficult. But I feel like at least my roommate was only a roommate, and eventually we moved on, and I live in a different place now, and like I don't even live in the same country as her. But it's hard. You love your family, I'm sure. So yeah, I don't have an answer. I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer for this. My easy answer is moving out. But other than a heart-to-heart discussion, it's moving out. I know some people have told me that, like, I've read online, some people have dealt with this with their family, and they will just not help. They won't clean up. They'll just leave the mess and see what happens. But unfortunately, I've found that I'm like, people like you and me are the ones that are bothered by the mess, that people making the mess sometimes just don't care if the place is crawling with like flies. Like, they just don't care. And sometimes that technique of trying to get them to clean their own mess by not dealing with it for them. So I will say one thing is, if you haven't tried, try not dealing with their mess. Make them deal with it. If they're so used to you cleaning up, they have no incentive to clean up. But if that still doesn't work and you've had this conversation and it's, you know, nothing's working, then like, honestly, I think the easy answer is moving out. But I know that that's not easy to actually do. And so I'm sorry I don't have a good answer for you. I'm sorry I don't have a good answer for you. But I'm sorry you're dealing with that situation, and I really, really hope that it gets better, or you find a way to be able to live happily in a situation where the people you live with respect space well and take care of their messes and don't leave it up to you or other people to deal with. But I know how that feels. I've had a couple really bad roommates that were like that. So, but for me, I was lucky because it was a roommate situation. I can't imagine if that was with family. Yeah, that's really horrible. I just recently moved on from a toxic living situation outside of the addressing it and gauging their reaction. There's no changing their behavior unless they care about how they're treating you as a roommate. If they do not, then move on. Exactly. That's exactly right, Goshira. Yeah, it's really tough. The only thing you can do is extricate take yourself out of that situation. It's bedtime for me. Thank you for the stream. Oh, thank you so much, Chubby, and thank you so much for the bits. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good time. Sleep well. Thanks for being a part of the stream. And thank you again for the bits. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's really tough. Okay, so this next question is, how do I stop falling asleep when I'm doing schoolwork work? My other question forgot the schoolwork or work. Oh yeah, so like this was your earlier question, right? Yeah, so I really do recommend taking breaks to walk, stretch your body, move around a bit. That's a big one for me. I think, yeah, that's really, really important for me personally, I think, is making sure I'm moving my body, because I just get so tired and sleepy if I'm sitting in front of my work for too long. That's my recommendation for how to stop falling asleep when you're you're doing work or something like that. Also, if you find that you are falling asleep, maybe putting your work during a time where you're awake. So let's say like you have classes in the morning and then you come home and you tend to be sleepy after lunch. Take a nap, wake up, and then do your work. Don't try to do work while you're sleepy. But if you find yourself constantly sleepy, like I said earlier, that's when you should probably get medical attention and make sure that, like, you know, you're trying to sleep every day for 8 hours, you're getting your 8 hours of sleep and you're still sleepy, you're getting more than 8 hours, or you're doing all that you can to get rest and it's still not working, then, you know, it might be something else, and that's when you should check with a doctor to see if it's an issue. Or something that they can give you advice on. But like I said, so for me, because coffee doesn't work to help me kind of focus, if let's say I really have to get through this assignment, I don't have time for a nap, or let's say I took a nap and I'm still feeling kind of groggy, I'll drink a little bit of oral rehydration solution, which is called ORS. I don't know what it's called in the US. In US, it might be like Pedialyte. For example, Pedialyte. Like what you drink when you're sick with a fever, it's not medicine. It's just electrolytes. That's what it is. Electrolyte mix. I used to drink electrolyte mix. Sometimes you can get it in like soda form, like bubbly electrolyte mix. I don't drink it in soda form. I drink this thing called Pocari, which is what you get here in Japan. It's called Pocari or Aquarius, and it just has a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, and a few electrolytes like potassium. What else does it have? I'm trying to remember. It just has a few different electrolytes in it, and I drink that, and it really helps me with dehydration and focus, especially in the summer. Other than that, I drink warm water. I drink tea. I drink hot liquids. For me, hot liquids help me focus, so I drink hot liquids. I drink coffee. The coffee is not what's helping me focus. Unfortunately, caffeine doesn't do anything for me. but drinking hot liquids really, really helps me focus. So that's my big recommendation. For that. I hope that helps. But other than that, taking walks, taking breaks to stretch, standing up, do some jumping jacks. Dance a little. Put on your favorite song. Try to do your favorite K-pop dance. I've tried that before. I get a little too distracted when I do that, so I don't do that anymore. Do a little wiggle. Shake your head. Stand up. Other than that, if you don't have classes in the morning and you have time in the morning, studying when you're awake is good. If you're a night person, studying at night. Studying whenever you are the most awake so that you can minimize falling asleep. So those are the tips I have for this. But yeah, I think there was one last question in the chat that someone asked, and I think that's it. I think we'll wrap it up there. I think that was all the questions that were blah, 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 blah. I can't English. I think that was all the questions that were in the Google form. Let me check the chat really quick because I know one person asked something about, I think, bullying. So let me just check really quick to make sure I caught it. And see if it's something that maybe I can answer. If it's not, I'm sorry if I can't answer it. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. This is just advice from my experiences that I can share, or experiences of friends that I can share. Certain situations I'm just really not equipped to help with. And if it's really, really difficult or tough, it's really worth it to maybe talk to a professional and get more focused help. Oh, I am echoing. Sorry, I opened my own stream to see the comments. So I can't scroll up in my comments here. Give me a second, let me scroll back and see. Someone asked a comment, let me see. I'm gonna go sleep now, Ro. Thanks so much for the advice. This really helps me a lot. Good night. Good night, Shock. Thanks so much for dropping by. It was great to have you here. Sleep well. Sleep well. Also, Fear Masters, how are you? How's it going? Let me see. No, I'm the one yawning. Bruh. I'm the one yawning. Whenever someone's asleep, the prof in the entire class clap once to wake them up. Aw. True, give me your chocolate payment? No. Oh, how do I tell someone their playful bullying is kind of hurting without hurting them? Oh, that's such a good question. Okay. This is a tough one. But I will tell you exactly how I've dealt with this situation. This hasn't been discussed. No worries. We can talk about this, and we can talk about it on a more positive note too. So how do I tell someone that their playful bullying is kind of hurting without hurting them? I like that you care enough about your friend. And Shock, I know you're headed out, so I'll keep this quick. Or if you want to watch it in your VOD later, you can do that. But I will say that, like, make sure that you can tell them, you can be really honest with them and say, hey, I know you're meaning it as a joke, and I appreciate that you want to have like a jovial relationship or a kind of positive relationship, but to be honest, this actually really hurts my feelings and doesn't make me feel happy. Do you think maybe there's a different way you can make jokes, or maybe you can find a different way to interact with me, or we can find a different way to connect with each other? And you should just tell them, but keep your tone positive, keep your tone light. Say it with like an honest, somber maybe smile. Just be like, like, I know you're trying to be nice, you're trying to be friendly, but actually I find this really hurtful. Do you think maybe we can like not have conversations like this? Or maybe can you not talk to me like that? Like, it would be nice if I was always told you should never say the word you, because that can put someone on the spot. Instead of saying that, just say it hurts my feelings. Just don't even say you. Can you stop that? That's implied, right? I think how I would say it is, I would say, to like word to word, I would say, hey, I know you're trying to be friendly, or you're trying to just make a joke, but honestly, this hurts my feelings. And I don't think that I'm finding it very comfortable. Put it on yourself. And if there's someone who actually cares and is nice, then they'll stop. They'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I won't do that. That's what they should say if they're a nice person. If they're mean about it, then just don't even bother. I would just be like, well, I'd like you, like, and if they're still not getting it, they're like, oh, I was just being funny. I was like, oh, I know you're trying to be funny, but it still hurts my feelings and I'd like it. And at that point, I would just straight up use the word you, and I'd say, I'd like it if you don't. If you wouldn't use me as a joke, or you wouldn't do this to me because to me it feels rude and hurtful and mean. And if they still don't get it, then I would just be like, well, you need to stop. And if they still don't get it, then I'm just not talking with them. They're not worth your time. They're not worth your time. If your quote-unquote friends don't understand when they're hurting you, that's okay, right? They're still your friends, but you let them know and they still don't get it, then I don't know if that person's your friend. That's how I feel, yeah. Conquistador, hello, welcome. I totally read your name wrong. Conquistador, oh, I see. Wait. I feel like that's kind of inappropriate. That's okay. It's Conquistador. I see. It took a second for me to figure that out. And I said it out loud. Oh no. But welcome. Just a little bit. Oh my gosh. Just a little bit. Lol. It's okay. You didn't hear me say it. I didn't say anything. What? Me say what? I didn't say anything. Ooh, hello. First time being here with Richie. I loved every part. Sadly, I'm no chocolate lover. Any dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is yummy though. I'll forgive you. It's okay. If you don't love chocolate, that's fine. More chocolate for me. More chocolate for your benevolent leader, Robro. More chocolate for me. Thank you. The best, most informational stream. I love it. I'm glad you liked it. I'm sorry that I don't always have the best advice, or that, you know, maybe my advice isn't exactly what you would do. And sometimes I know the way I give advice is very all over the place, because I have so many thoughts and so much I'm thinking about as I'm sharing this. So sometimes my advice is not very clear. It kind of goes all over the place, but I hope it was still a little bit helpful for some of you. Made you think about how to deal with certain situations in your life. I don't have the answers to everything. I don't think everything I said is the right way to do anything. It's just what I feel has worked for me, or is how I've dealt with situations, and it's helped. I hope that whatever, like, you know, pain in the butt work or study situation you're going through, you're able to figure it out and work through it, or you find a way to make it fun for yourself, or you find a way to grow. And like, you know, a lot of you who've been around for the last few months, or been viewers for a long time, have heard me talk about my work situation at my new job and how much I've been struggling with it. And for all those difficult situations, I feel like I've gotten like better at dealing with work politics. I still don't like work politics. I still don't engage with it, but I've gotten better at avoiding things in my work that I don't need to engage with, and learning to have thicker skin. And I hate saying that. I wish people were just nicer, but they're not. So all I can do is control myself, and that's to have thicker skin and to care less, to give less F's about stuff people say that hurts my feelings, to take the criticism that I need to take and ignore the unnecessary meanness or rudeness or passive aggressiveness of coworkers. Those are all things that I wasn't good at before, and I'm still not great at it now, but I'm a bit better at it. So that's all I can say, is that, you know, I hope you find a way to navigate the situation and grow into a stronger person from it. And sometimes you just gotta call the situation out on its face and just be like, this is dumb, stop doing this. You know, in a work situation, sometimes it's really hard to say that. In a friend situation, maybe you have a little more control to tell them like, hey, you know, can you please not do this? Or, you know, this hurts my feelings. But sometimes in a work situation, it can be really hard to bring it up. And if you can't talk to HR, if you can't talk to someone about it at work, it's better to like talk to someone on a personal level, you know, a friend or family member who's unrelated to your work, and talk to them with your specific situation, maybe get advice, or talk to a professional and get advice. But I found that in my work situation, the best thing I can do is just avoid it. Unfortunately, that's the solution I've come to at my work, because fighting just gets you in trouble at my work. So that's what I've done, and that's what I've learned from it. So my experiences are based off of that. But you know, your experience might be different, and I hope that you find what works for you. Yeah. Toasted sleep well, have a good rest. Sorry, Virul, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Thank you. I'm about to wrap up stream, but I appreciate you coming by. Welcome. I hope you get a chance to catch a different stream. But all of that said, thank you all so much. Thank you, Magic, for modding. By the way, I like your advice. Thanks, Magic. Yeah, I hope you sleep well. Sleep well. Have some good rest, Magic. Thank you again. Thank you all so much for joining. I don't do advice streams very often because I think they can get really heavy and intense. And so I know it, for some of you, it may be a very different type of stream than what I know I normally do. But I hope it was still interesting and informational and you got something out of it. But through the rest of the week, we're back to other types of streams. I'll be doing study streams and work along streams this week as I do my office work. And then during the weekend, we'll be playing video games again. We'll be playing games. I don't know what games I'm playing this weekend. I haven't decided yet. I bought some new games. I bought some like bullet hell games I want to try. I'm not sure what we'll be doing this week, but I'll let you guys know later in the week once I kind of know my schedule. But during the week, we'll probably do a couple of work along, study along streams. I don't know about the schedule, Magic. I don't know. My work schedule is too crazy to have like a stream schedule anymore. I've given up on the stream schedule. It's not planning the events that's hard. It's planning the times that I find really difficult. Because sometimes I'll plan something for 11 o'clock and then I'll get a meeting invite. And I can't turn down my meeting invite. So that's why I don't plan streams anymore. But anyway, through the rest of the week, we'll have work along, study along streams where we work together. I'll be doing office work. Sometimes I mute myself while I'm in meetings. You can use that time to chat with people in the stream through the text chat, or you can use that time to work on your own material, do your own homework, do your own office work, draw, chill, listen to music. I put on this vibey music while we do that. And then during the weekend, I usually do video games. Those streams are pretty chaotic. And can get silly or loud. So I hope if you like something more energetic and exciting, I hope you'll come around during the weekend. If you want something more chill and calm, maybe even a little bit ASMR-y. I know that's a word because I made it up just now. If you like something a little more chill, ASMR-y, I hope you'll join us during the week for work along streams. And that's all I got. Hello! I'm so sorry, I'm just wrapping up, but it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. And sweet darling Lily, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to follow. I'm wrapping up stream, but I hope I'll catch you all later this week or next during the weekend. Can I ask you something? How can you not breathe in 5 minutes? I am a fairy. I'm a fairy. I'm magic. I can talk like this for as many minutes as I need to, and I can talk really, really fast and still somehow make sense and not take a breath. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Osuchi desu. Otsukaresama desu. Please take a chance to sub or follow so that you can join future streams. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. I simul-stream YouTube and Twitch. I post shorts on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So please check them out if you're interested. And I'll catch you all soon. Otsuchi desu. Otsukaresama desu. また今週か、来週末お会いましょう。はい。お疲れ様です。バイ